I can't tell you how many times I've been asked to react to Norm MacDonald. And today's the day. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I've never actually watched any of Norm MacDonald's stand-up. I didn't really watch stand-up growing up, and until I started doing YouTube videos, that's kind of was the introduction to my comedy and love for it. So we've been reacting to Mitch Hedberg, Stephen Wright, Bill Burr, all of the above, and now Norm MacDonald, which I'm very excited for. I've heard just great things. So the wait is over. We're going to be reacting to an act that was highly requested called The Most Convoluted Joke. And this is just, I can't wait. Here we go. I hope this is a good one, a good introduction to Norm MacDonald. So, all right.
When I was young, there was a fella went by the name of Jacques de Gautier. And he was from Témiscamingue, Quebec. And Jacques de Gautier, he was a fella that really thought. And he was smart, you know. He was our hope, I guess. And he was, while I was scrambling to get out of high school, Jacques Zagatineau had already...
I think he just changed his last name.
I was like, what?
Well, you know, a man grows.
A man grows.
But this is the point.
Yeah.
Jacques de Gatineau, he went to McGill University and he got 3 degrees, by golly. And he went over across the pond to the fellers with Cambridge, and he even stood up to them. Mm-hmm. And we thought, boy, he's going to be the next. We had Jean Marchand, Gérald Tertier, Pierre Trudeau, the 3 wise men of Quebec. By God, Jacques de Gatineau was going to be the next.
Give me the next gun.
Yeah.
Where is this going?
He vanished. And I met him, I started to do stand-up and travel from here to there and to here again.
That's cute.
And one time I was in Niagara Falls, and gosh, I went over to the Sea World there. You know how they have the Sea World? You know, with the different fish. You know.
I didn't know that, but okay, yeah, yes.
Beluga.
The Sea World, I've been there many a time.
Okay, so I was checking out the beluga whales and stuff, and I look over, and who do you think I see?
I hope it's that guy.
No, it was just an attendant, but he showed me to the place I wanted to see, which is where they feed the little baby dolphins, because I love dolphins, you know. And who do I see there but Jacques de Gatineau? And here he is, he's feeding the baby dolphins. And I go up to him and I go, Jacques de Gatineau, I feel shame for you. You were our hope. You were to go to Canada, Canada's nation's capital of Ottawa. And you were to be a great man, Jacques de Gatineau. And we were all, you know, we pinned all of Témiscamingue, Quebec, pinned our hopes on you. Now, that's a hell of a burden for a man to have a town's hope pinned on them, isn't it, Conan?
It is a big burden.
So he was feeding these baby dolphins, you know, and I said, I'm ashamed of you, Jacques de Gatineau. You could have done so many great things. And he said, well, I think I'm serving a youthful porpoise. Now, I believe that...
I hate it. I hate it.
What was gonna happen?
No.
I knew that.
No.
Don't encourage that.
Oh my.
It was a 40-minute story.
That was such a build-up.
Youthful porpoise?
Youthful porpoise.
Yes.
Not porpoise.
I don't know. Good God.
I know.
My
That was way out of line.
No, that was way out. Who are you to
somebody
criticize Oscar Pistorius?
It's like somebody saying, I gotta show you something. They take you on a 4-mile hike to show you a dog turd.
He got him on the ground. Oh my God.
Okay. Well, there's your reel for CBS.
All that for
Les
that.
Moon. We're getting this right to Les Moon. I gotta have him. You want to see that every night, Les?
Oh my
More Quebecois
gosh.
humor.
I love you. I really do. You know that, right?
Oh my god. What a build up for such an underwhelming punchline. But the fact that it was such a build up just makes it even more hilarious. Wow. Well, that being said, I definitely enjoyed that. And if you have another Norm MacDonald video you'd like me to check out, please drop it in the comments. And then don't forget to subscribe, because then if you're like, hey, can you watch this video? I really love it. And then I watch it and you're not subscribed and you miss it, then like that would just not make any sense. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope this put a smile on your face like it did for me. Oh boy, I feel like we just stumbled through another rabbit hole with Norm MacDonald comedy. So here we go. Buckle up, guys. Make sure you subscribe. We're almost to 100,000 subscribers, and make sure you check out the new merch to help celebrate and support that. And thank you guys so much. In case nobody has told you today, I love you. God loves you. And peace.
I was pretending to be asleep, but I wasn't. And he came in, and he was very quiet, and he came up to me, and he kissed me on that area between my forehead and the bridge of my nose. He kissed me right there, and he said quietly, so as not to wake me, "I love you, son." And then he left. And the next day, I wanted to say something to him at breakfast table, but he was already out. He was driving hack. That was his second job. But my God, my dad, anyways, they don't remember that at all. All they remember is, ah, you know, because unfortunately, that's the way human beings are. I think if I were to do it, I don't think I ever would. But you never know. You can't predict the future. I could wake up one day and go, I want to have one of them orgasms. That's 3/2 times as strong as the... I knew that advanced math degree was going to come in handy sometimes. I just did not know when. This is what I would do if it ever happened to me. I would disguise it so it looked like an actual suicide. Because then, when I was found, my son wouldn't go, ah! He'd go, oh, mysterious. Dad's a mysterious guy. It's going to be a pretty cool story from here on in. So I would pretend, you know, it was a real suicide. Like I would write a note, a suicide note. Do you think this would be funny, just as a practical joke, if you just wrote a suicide note and just blamed some random guy? Would you think that would be, you know what I mean? You know, like your barber or something like that, you know? It was all Ralph Abernathy's fault. Because you know the police would be compelled to go to Abernathy's barbershop and go, have you ever heard of a fellow named Norm MacDonald? I go, yeah, he'd come in every couple of months for a trim. Oh, okay. Well, anyways, he took his life because of you. He wrote it here in this letter. Would you like to keep the... And then Ralph Abernathy would have to spend the rest of his life walking down. Life's hard enough without having to... That's not a good practical joke. I should never have framed that as a good practical joke, because it's probably the worst practical joke. You know, it's the kind of practical joke gets you raped by the devil for all of time. I came here from Las Vegas, Nevada, and when I was on the air, where do airplanes go from? Airports. I was in the airport, and guys were asking, everyone wanted my ID, and it occurred to me that ID is a strange abbreviation because I is short for I, and then D is short for identification. So it seems to me D is doing most of the legwork on that one. But Vegas was cool. They have a motto in Vegas. They got their own slogan for the city. It says, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, which is not true. You know, you can't kill a guy and then just leave, you know? They'll follow you. They'll find you. They'll bring you back and they'll try you in front of a jury of your peers. So I thought, well, what does it mean anyways? You know, and I ruminated about it. Days and days and nights. Sleepless weeks became sleepless more weeks. And finally, it occurred to me. It was so simple. It was right in front of my face the entire time. Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. All it really means is you can go to Vegas, you can have sex with a prostitute, and she will not tell your wife. They're very discreet, the Las Vegas prostitutes. You know? Not like these gossipy small town whores back where you live, you know? These fucking blabbermouths. Down at the beauty parlor with that pale blue thing over their head, whatever the fuck that is. Going, you're Marge Majerison, John Neal's wife? Well, by God. I took a shit on him last night. In exchange for cash. Nice fella. My favorite thing is the magic phones that we all have. You know, not so long ago, phones were not magic. They were just used to telephone people. And they couldn't take pictures, you know? If you wanted to take a picture, this was only like 20 years ago, you would have to use it. You couldn't use a phone. I remember I tried, go, okay, just hold on there. Just, people go, what are you doing? I go, don't worry, I was kind of ahead of my time, but they thought, no, you had to use a camera, and then you would put film in the camera, and then you would go to a photo mat. It was wonderful, and you'd give it to this old man, and he'd go behind some beads and stuff, you know? And then you go, when am I gonna see them pictures? And you go, and then you go, I'll phone you every couple of weeks, how'd that be? And then one day you got the news, your pictures were ready. And so you brought your whole family and you all showed up and you got that envelope. It was wonderful. And you opened that seal, you know, and then there were the pictures, a whole handful. Like you go, hey, look at this. It's a picture of Aunt Ida, but her eyes are red like the devil. Maybe Aunt Ida's the devil. Hey, look at this. It's a picture of my dog, but I put a hat and glasses on it so it would look like a person. Still looks kind of like a dog a little bit. Hey, look, it's a picture of you, but look at your jacket and your hair. Ah! Look at the way you used to dress. Ah! Remember that hair? So you needed that time for the picture to make any sense or have any resonance. You know, nowadays you go, hey, would you like to see a picture of you standing right where you are 1 second ago? I got one here. Your hair is identical. Guess it would be, huh? In the real old days, they would take pictures like and at my house, I have a picture of my great-grandfather. And I only have one, you know? Back then, they only had one picture of everybody because they'd pull that thing and it would explode and all that shit, you know? And it was just nobody was happy because it took so long to get your picture taken. And so it's just my great-grandfather going, how long is this gonna take, Sarah? Who's gonna feed them hogs? Damn sure ain't gonna be Marjorie, I'll tell you that. You know what else I like about the magic phone? Wikipedia. Oh, you ever use that? That's the best, man. It makes a democracy out of smartness. Everybody's equal now, you know? Used to be, a guy would go to school 5, 6 years, and then he'd talk to me, and I'd be like, ah. But now it's all different. I got my magic phone in my pocket. So a guy will say to me, he'll go, hey, Norm, you ever hear of a fella that went by the name of Claude Monet? And I go, why, of course I have. I gotta go to the bathroom. And I go to the bathroom. And I'm in there 20, 25 minutes, and I come back. I go, hey, listen, I was just, we were talking about Claude Monet, and I just wanted to say that, you know what I liked about him was his paintings. I liked the way he painted. He was a painter, and I loved how he used the paint to make paintings. And the guy goes, God damn, Norm, I've never been able to stump you in 2 years. I go, But I looked on because I like learning on my Wikipedia, and I looked because I was wondering about fame, the nature of fame, because it's changed so much, you know? And when I was young, it was one thing, and now it's a whole different thing. And I was wondering how many people have been to the moon, like have actually walked on the moon. So I looked on my magic telephone, and I found out only 13 or 14 in the entire history of the world. You would think that would make you very, very famous. But no. The last guy who walked, now you'd think he would be famous for being the last guy to be on the moon. His name was Harrison Schmitt. Now, who ever heard of him? Meanwhile, he goes all the way to the moon, hangs around there for a while, and comes back. He's not famous, but a girl with a giant ass is famous. Now, when I was young, a man who went to the moon was famous. And a lady with a giant ass, you'd go, can you stand over there? Because this is... Harrison Schmitt. So how many people that went to the moon do we even know? There was, we know the first ones. There was Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin. They went Apollo 11, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin. And even the third is hard to remember. His name was Michael Collins. And Michael Collins, in one of the just most unfair jokes, I don't know what it was, he got to go all the way to the moon, but not go on the moon. All the way to the moon, and then that little rope ladder, he wasn't allowed to go down. He had to stay in the lunar capsule while Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong went on the moon. And Michael Collins just looking out the window going, are those motherfuckers golfing? Good God, they're golfing. Wait a minute, they got a dune buggy now. I was only allowed to bring so much, and they brought dune buggies. This is... I have to keep up a good face, I guess. And then Buzz and Neil, I'm sure they were nice guys. They didn't want to hurt Michael Collins, you know. So they probably went back, you know, to the lunar capsule, you know, and Michael Collins was like, what do you think, guys? What was the moon like? What was it like? And they were like, ah. It's all right if you like that kind of thing, I guess. I prefer the lunar capsule myself. I can't speak for Buzz, but I really do like the lunar capsule. Because that's what you do. You know, most of your life is mundane. So I had to write a book, right? So it was a book about my life. So they said, you know, just write about your life. So I said, oh, thank you, yeah. Yeah, it turned out to be the greatest comic novel ever written, but when it started, it was supposed to be a memoir, you know, a autobiography. So it makes you think about, well, what is my life? So I started thinking about it, right? So I said, okay, I wake up in the morning and I eat some Count Chocula. And
has become a huge hot topic over his comments about Roseanne and Louis C.K. and the Me Too movement, and it led to the Tonight Show, you know, saying that we're going to cancel the appearance, but we wanted him to come and clear the air. So please welcome Norm MacDonald. You took a lot of flack for saying in the art of for some things that you said in the Hollywood Reporter, saying that you were kind of glad that the Me Too movement has slowed down, and we don't really know you as a guy who, you know, really comments on very much that's going on. So what were you trying to say? Yeah.
well, I was, you know, print reporters, they ask you questions and they put them all together. What I was talking about was Chris Hardwick, this particular comedian.
Right.
That was a friend of mine. And, you know, if 500 women go against a man, obviously the guy's guilty. But in the Chris Hardwick one, it was one woman against one man.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know? So I was saying that I thought it was good that the pendulum was slowing, and Chris Hardwick has been as rehabilitated as he's going to get. He still tells me he can't walk down the street without people yelling stuff at him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's all I was trying to say.
Okay. Well, you know, you do raise valid questions about, like, due process and, you know, verification of what went on. I think that we would agree with that, you know, that you have to back it up somewhat. But when you kind of lose me when you imply that the hardship that your friend Louis C.K. is a friend of mine, too, really. I know him a long time. That the hardship that he went through is equal to the hardship that the victims went through.
Right.
That doesn't compute.
No, it's not true.
Can you explain yourself a little there?
Yeah, that's not what I was saying. When this happened, I was working for Roseanne when Roseanne's thing went down, and I called her the next day, and she was crying the whole time I was talking to her.
Right.
I've known Roseanne for a while, and I was worried about her because she seemed really, really in a bad place. And I said, I can't really talk to you about this because I've never been through anything like this. And I said, I know Louis, and he's been through this, where he's had everything taken from him.
Right.
And I said, not many of us have gone through this, and so you should talk to each other because and then the guy said, what about the victims? And I said, well, the victims haven't gone through this. I was talking about this particular event. Of course, the victims have gone through worse than that. But I'm going to get a victim to phone Roseanne?
No, but that's a good clarification.
And that's why it's so important to be able to clarify and to be able to explain, because at the heart of it, I think we are forgiving people. We jump very quickly today, but I do think that we like to forgive. You went on the Howard Stern show yesterday to apologize, and you ended up making it worse because you said you'd have to have Down syndrome not to feel sorry for the victims.
Yes.
Do you regret
you just
saying
keep on
that?
getting into trouble, Norm MacDonald.
It's always bad when you have to apologize
For the apology?
An apology. The,
Do you lose it when you're on Howard? Is that what happens, Joe?
well, there is a thing on Howard where there's a recklessness in the studio. And, you know, there used to be a word we would all say to mean stupid that we don't say anymore. Right?
Yeah.
You know the word I'm talking about? Yes. And stupidly, I was about to say that word.
And you put this.
And I stopped and said, what's the right word to say? And then I said, a different word that was equally
Did you realize in that
offensive.
moment that probably
I
offended a lot of
realized
people?
at that moment that I'd done something unforgivable.
Yeah. Right. I mean, you know, it's like things spill out sometimes, and it's just difficult. You also you're friends with Roseanne. She gave you your first job, I
Yes,
understand.
yeah, my first job.
And so you put her together with Louis,
With
CK.
Yeah, because I was really concerned about Roseanne, and you know, I don't want someone to end up killing themselves or anything.
Of course not.
Yeah, so.
Don't you think Louis, do you say that you think they deserve a comeback? Now, I was saying yesterday that Louis performed at Comedy Cellar, and what he didn't talk about these allegations in his set, which I would have thought that he would have done. Don't you? I mean, so if he wants to have a comeback, he needs to, like, address it directly, I think, as a comedian. So where's Roseanne's coming back?
Geez, I don't know if Roseanne could ever come back.
Are you worried to speak now because of the backlash that you've received this week? Now are you thinking twice before everything comes out of your mouth?
He always thinks
that
This is how he's a slow talker.
He's talks like that.
But I think just in general,
talkers
I
of
think in
America.
general we all have to think very carefully about the words that come out of our mouth because you risk offending somebody or a number of people.
Right,
Well,
right.
Joy's often said that PC, political correctness, is killing comedy.
It is killing comedy.
Do you
to a
agree
large
with that?
extent.
Yes,
Even
I
in
agree
the
with
clubs
that
where it's a
because-
small group.
Well,
You know,
as long as there's a video.
often people will come and say, you know, some guy said a joke and you're asked to defend it, and the joke is always horrible. Like, it's the worst joke you've ever heard.
Yeah.
And you're in this position where you have to defend a terrible joke on free speech, you know. But I always, like, reporters always ask you, like, what's offensive? Is anything over the line? And I personally think almost everything is over the line.
They like you to be edgy, and then when you are, you get hurt for it.
Right.
But you know, comedians.
But
are
I will
trying-
say, the remark I made about people with Down syndrome was just a
Insensitive.
terrible,
Yeah.
terrible,
and
terrible
stupid.
thing for me to say.
We agree.
Well, all of this is happening,
Yeah.
you know,
Well-
and we also, you know, we've all stepped in it as comics.
Yeah.
We all have stepped in it as comics.
And as lawyers
And
and as journalists.
maybe, but not quite the same way.
Not quite the same. But let me
But-
ask you.
go ahead.
Sorry, Whoop. You know, your appearance on Jimmy Fallon was canceled. And he said that his staffers were actually crying about the comments that you made. Were you surprised at that reaction? And
Weren't
have
they
you
crying
been
that you were there?
surprised
They were crying that he was there.
that you were even there? Have you been surprised by this reaction?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, yeah, I have been surprised because, you know, I never did anything. I mean, I spoke, but I mean, I don't want to be tossed in with people that actually did,
Right.
not crimes, but sins, or, you know, I barely have consensual sex.
Oh, they all have consent. It's all consensual. When Mr. Happy comes
how
out,
you
it's all
define it.
consensual.
Which brings us to this. You have a new show called the NORM MACDONALD Show.
I feel a little weird.
Why?
Well, part of the reason this
plugging
is
it,
all
plugging it at this
happening,
point.
Norm, is because you've now got this show and you're talking to lots of folks, and now in a different way than just being a stand-up or a funny person, people are asking you questions that, you know, you think your answer sounds fine in your head,
Yeah.
you know, but then you say it and it's like, oh, that went over not well.
Yeah.
So the reason I say that this is in part why you got here is because this is very different for you. The conversations that you're having with folks, they're asking you questions that would not that we would talk about, you and I would talk about, but you know, they're not for public consumption.
Right.
And I know what you mean, but you know, when you're talking to a whole bunch of folks, they may not know what you mean because they don't know you. So tell me, what's going to be different about your talk show? Because I'm told you're not doing any politics, which is probably great. You know, you're not talking about heavy stuff. What are you talking about? Stuff with guests that have to do with their lives and you know.
Yeah, I'm just talking about, well, we wanted the show to be not time-stamped because it's on Netflix.
Right.
And Ted wanted nothing topical.
Right.
So that's good because I don't really know anything topical. And so we just talk about, you know,
People's
eternal
lives.
questions.
Right.
But it's edgy anyway. I saw a clip. You asked Drew Barrymore if she misses cocaine. Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it's an edgy show anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. But,
Well, it's
congrats
coming
and
on.
good luck.
Thanks, you know, listen, thanks for coming to us to talk to us about this.
Well, I hope
You
I hope that I didn't offend any of you guys.
Not at all.
No. But all 10 episodes of your show, the Norm MacDonald Show, has a show premiere on Netflix tomorrow. So lots of interesting guests from, you know, Drew Barrymore, as you said, to Jane Fonda, to David Letterman.
Yeah.
Really quite different and quite new. Thanks for hanging with us.
Thank you.
We'll be back.
You know, I tweeted Richard Dawkins, this famous atheist.
Yeah, I know he is.
And, yeah, of course, he just thinks I'm a moron, you know, because he went to Cambridge and I dropped out of high school. But I asked him, I said, you know, why does life insist? And they didn't understand. What's that mean? I'm like, well, it means, I thought he was like smart. So I said, why does life,
I know what you mean,
need to create other life?
Right.
Why do you have to procreate? Why do you have to live?
and fight to stay alive.
Yeah,
and survive,
fight to stay alive and make sure that your genes stay alive. Why do you have to do that? You know, why, if nothing matters, wouldn't the obvious thing to do be go extinct? You know what I mean? To me, that would be the clear and obviously self-evident thing to do. And, you know, in fairness to Richard Dawkins, he said, oh, well, that's a philosophical question that I'll ask my friends and I'll try to get back to you. So it was very nice. But I think it lies at the heart of theology, you know, and people of faith, especially in this town, you know, they'll say, you believe in an invisible man in the sky. And, you know, they already throw on you their ideas of what you believe in, you know, although they don't know what you believe, you know. They don't know what you think of as God, you know. But the one question that always bothered me and always bothers everybody is how can children die if there's a benevolent God, right? And how can 6 million go through the chimney at Birkenau, you know? And this is a question that I think I have an answer for, because I think a lot about this kind of stuff. Because I'd really like there to be a God. I don't know at all, but I really would like there to be a God. Because Sarah Silverman told me, she's like, so you really believe in it? I go, I'm trying, you know. She's like, you believe in an invisible man in the sky? You know, she says it that way. So I'm like, well, whatever, if you want to say it that way. So she's like, well, good luck with that. And I'm like, well, it's a good luck for you, too. You know, it's not like your idea of like being thrown on the ground, having dirt tossed on you is such a beautiful, great idea. You know?
That doesn't bother me.
Dirt thrown on you forever?
I mean, yeah, because I just sort of feel like it's probably just a blissful state of non-existence that I had before. Boy, I'm going to be really, it's going to be a huge bummer if that's not the case.
But if you have a blissful state of non-existence, then you're talking about an afterlife.
Well, okay, blissful is probably the wrong word. I just meant I'm not aware of anything, you know. I think it'd be great if there was something, but if there's not, I think the worst thing would be your consciousness lives on, but there's nothing. So you just feel, you know.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, that would be hell.
I suppose.
I mean, Nabokov, I think, was the guy who said, like, he saw a picture of himself. I'm sorry, he saw a picture of his parents. And his parents
had his older brother in his arm, and his mother had his older brother in her arms, and his mother and father and his older brother. But he had not been born yet. And he said he felt no grief or terror at that picture.
Sure.
Where he didn't exist.
Right.
So I thought that was very interesting. Like, it's what you're saying. You know,
right.
That why be afraid of not existing? Because it's not really you that dies. It's the world that dies.
Sure.
And you know, everything there is. Everything there is and everything.
I mean, I think it would be fantastic if there was some sort of a transformation of, oh, this is a conservation of emotional energy that, you know, once your emotional energy forms, it can't ever be destroyed, and it just disperses into the universe somehow, and you're a part of this thing that is you can't comprehend now, but once you're there, you'll totally get it.
It's very hard to believe.
But it'd be great if that were the, and I don't,
of course it would be great.
I don't fault anyone.
But here's my answer for the
What's the answer?
For the chimneys. Here's what I believe. If there is a God, and if he is good, and if he created the universe and the earth, then an all good being, what can he create? He can't create good, because that would just be expansion. So all he can create is bad. So he creates bad, and then in a cool twist, the bad that he creates is allowed itself in a godlike way to create good from the bad. Because originally God created good from the bad, then bad from the good, and then he gives man the exact opportunity. So just from a standpoint of logic, which, you know, is what atheists always try to say, I believe that there is an answer for the question of why God allows horrors, and that's what I come up with. But
I also,
you know, I have a rabbi who I talk to a lot. I'm not Jewish.
No, McDonald's. No,
I was for a year, but he's the guy that knows. You know, he's a scholar. You know, like my pastor doesn't know anything. Like he's just a pleasant guy. And he has,
I don't know. You should probably look that up. Hey, what is there? I mean, you know.
I know. If you ask him a direct question, you go, huh? What? Didn't you hear my sermon? And the sermon's always like, you know, how to be a nice fella, you know, or something. You know, it's all this nonsense. But this pastor, I phoned this pastor because I try to read the scriptures and study them. Last week I asked this priest, this rabbi. I was saying, like in the Old Testament, they have the Lord's Prayer. And in the Lord's Prayer, he says, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And I said, how could God lead us into temptation? It's without his boundaries, you know, it's without his fence. God can't do that, if I'm correct about the God of the Old Testament. He cannot. It's not in his nature. You know, the devil can, but not God. So the devil's hard to believe in. Of all the religions, it's hard to say one's worse than the other, you know. But I can say with all belief that there's one religion that's just not true, and that's the Church of Satan. I think it even purports to be not true. Like, it's like, you know, there's a guy that's bigger than me.
Well, I think some of them, I think some of the people who are, and I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, but just some of the stuff that I've seen online, I think some people adopt it as kind of a counter, like, okay, well, you guys have that guy over there with the beard, and then we have this guy.
Yeah.
And we should all be accepting it's not just that one, or just like, you know, I think
right.
Sometimes I think it's
But do you really want to have a personal relationship with the devil? A guy, you know, it's the only religion where there's a bigger, stronger guy outside, you know, of that the Satanists say exists.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But they say we're going to go with the
guy
underdog.
who was, well, because that guy, like, you know, that guy wasn't popular. He got cast out. So
Yeah.
like, we're going to be with this guy over here because
Maybe that's it. Maybe he's an outlaw.
Yeah, he's kind of an outlaw. Yeah, exactly.
He's definitely the original outlaw. Look, I don't want to say too many good things about the devil. But I guess he was, now that you say it, he was the original
I hadn't really
outlaw.
thought about it before, but I guess now, yeah, he was the original guy who got kicked out of the party. You know, like who doesn't relate to that?
Exactly.
You know, it's like big popular guys having a party. There's naked people running around. You know, there's snakes and apples. There's a beautiful garden. It's like, yeah, they got kicked out. You know, come on. Everyone knows what that feels like.
It's funny, like, you know, people think that whatever religion you are, Christian or whatever, that you're so self-righteous, but actually, you know, they feel they're sinners. You know, when I was a Christian, I would sin all the time, and like I ate apples. That's on page 1 of the book. Worst possible thing you could do. And but anyways, I'm right now I'm of no faith. You know,
But you're looking for answers.
yeah, I'll find something. You know, I'm probably closer to Judaism right now than anything else. But I like the laughter is so important to me. You know, I'm talking about me laughing,
sure,
not hearing other people laugh,
right?
But me laughing because I'm so emotional and so sensitive that I can be broken. You know, and I know I can, you know, and so laughter is what keeps me.
I'm here with Norm MacDonald, and you often speak of your native Canada.
Yeah, I love Canada.
You mention it a lot.
Yeah, a couple of people.
3 to be exact.
Yeah, they like it.
That's important. Where are you from? Are you from a big city? Where are you from?
I'm from a little town. It's called Monkland, and it's only 108 people.
108. That's small.
It's country, you know. It's really rural. And but man, I'll tell you, there's lots of funny stories from there.
Well, I'm sorry we don't have time. Thank you very much for coming, Norm. It was good having you here. It was Norm MacDonald. Good night, everybody.
It's farm people, you
there
know.
are funny stories from this town.
Yeah, it's farm people. They all seem to be, you know. There all seem to be a funny story. I remember one time.
There better be, Norm.
There was a guy, man. He lived down the road. His name was John Neil Mergerison. And this guy, I went to him once. I'd been away for a couple of years, you know. I moved to the city, you know, and I came back. And I said, John Neil, how you doing? You know, I went to his what do you call, farm? And
yeah, that thing, yeah.
So he showed me his pigs. He had a bunch of pigs there, you know. He had a bunch of pigs, a bunch of them, and one of the pigs had a wooden leg, you know.
What?
Oh yeah, a wooden leg. So I thought that was odd, you know. So I says to him, I says, John Neil, that's odd. There, what's that pig? What's the story with that pig? So John Neil, he goes, oh man, Norm, he says, that's a special pig. He goes, you wouldn't believe that pig. I go, yeah, what, tell me about it. He goes, that pig, you wouldn't believe it. He says, last winter, you know, he goes, the house burned down. You know, you probably heard, the house burned down. And he says, me and the wife, we were sleeping on our bed, and he says, we never would have heard. We never would have heard. We never would have woken up. But he goes, that pig, he broke out of his pen, he ran all the way to the house, and he went up to the bedroom window, you know, and he says he starts hitting his little snout on a window, you know, and he says, me and the wife, we woke up. And we got out, man, just in time. We escaped that inferno. He didn't use the word inferno. He's just a farmer.
But you threw that in there.
Yeah, he said, we escaped that conflagration, you know. So I go, man, that's quite a story about the pig. He goes, oh, man, it doesn't stop there. I go, really? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, just later after that, like the following summer, me and the wife were plowing in North 40, and our little boy, only 2 years old, man, fell into the well, and all alone, you know, and we no way we could do anything. We were plowing, and he says we didn't hear, you know, and he says, man, you know, we're getting older. We're probably not going to have another kid. You know, that kid means everything to us. I go, I know, John Neil, I know that. You don't have to tell me that. So I said, what happens? He goes, that's the very same pig. He says, he heard the child's wailing plaintive cry. He didn't say plaintiff, you know, he's a farmer. But he says he heard the child. He broke out of his pen. He ran all the way to the well. He looked down. There was the poor son of ours there, Billy, you know, down at the bottom of the well. He says the pig, he took his snout there, he started pulling up on a rope, and the kid got right out, you know, and man, that's great, isn't it? And I go, man, that's the greatest story I ever heard. Man, oh, what a pig. I said, what a pig that is. I said, one question though, John Neal. I said, he got a wooden leg. I don't understand that part. Pig got a wooden leg over there. John Neal goes, man, he goes, what are you, crazy? He says, a great pig like that, you can't eat him all at once. You know, he said,
Mr. Abraham Lincoln, everybody.
Back, everybody, here with Norm MacDonald, and you know, I find out more and more about you every time you come on the program. You know, I always study up on a file and I learn more about you, and I was really surprised to learn I didn't know this. I didn't know this, but you were a bartender.
Yeah, I did a lot of jobs before I got into comedy, you know, and for a while I was slinging the hash. No. No.
You idiot!
That was when I was a fry cook. I was a bartender. I was slinging the drinks, you know?
Sure, right.
And, oh, man, that was fun. I'll tell you what was fun about being a bartender. Always a story, you know?
Really?
Always something funny happening down at the bar.
And, that's perfect for a talk show, then.
Yeah, this is a good example. One time I was working in there. Drunk guy comes in, you know? And you're not supposed to serve the drunk guys. You know, that's one of the things you learn. So,
okay.
And also you learn how to make the drinks.
Yeah.
But, so the drunk guy comes in, you know, real drunk, you know, 3 sheets to the wind, you know. So this character sits down, you know, and I says to him, I says, what do you want? I can't serve you, you know. He goes, I don't want a drink, he says, you know. He says, I want to shoot a dart at your dartboard, you know. So I go to the guy, I say, you can't shoot a dart at my dartboard. He goes, you're drunk, you know. I said, I'm not going to let you, that'd be dangerous. That's a sharp thing, a dart, you know. So the guy goes, no, let me shoot 1 shot at the dartboard. So I go, all right, 1 shot, that's it. So the guy shoots the dart, bullseye. I never seen anything like it, you know, even in his state, bullseye. So the guy says to me, he says, what do I win? You know? So I don't know what he wins. I'm confused, you know. So I start looking around, try to find something for him, and I see right in the bottom of the bar area, there's a shoebox with a turtle in it.
From where? What is that doing there?
What? I was gonna give it as a gift to my nephew.
Okay, all right.
He wanted a turtle, and I said, I'll get him a turtle. That'll be a good gift.
Okay.
But then later I thought, that's a dumb gift, a turtle. Nobody likes a turtle, you know? The kid will probably just put him on his back until he dies. Kids are cruel, you know? So I said, why not just give it to this drunk?
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So I said, here's your prize, here it is. And so the guy takes it in a shoebox, you know, and he goes, thanks, and he walks out with it. So I figured that's the last I'll ever see of that guy.
Sure.
2 weeks later, the guy shows up again. Drunk again. So now I go, oh my God, that's that guy from 2 weeks ago, you know? So he walks up to the bar. I go, I can't serve you, buddy. I can't do that. He goes, I don't want. He says, I want to shoot a dart at your dartboard. I go, no, man, I let you do that before. He goes, but I got a bullseye. I say, yeah, but you can't do that again. You know, it's luck. He goes, let me try. So he takes it, shoots it, bullseye again.
Oh, man.
So he goes, what do I win? You know? So I'm confused. I don't know, you know? I look around. I go, I don't know. I go, what did you win last time? He goes, oh, last time I won a roast beef on a hard roll. It was the turtle.
We know it was the turtle. It was the turtle. We know.
Oh, my God.
It was the turtle.
Guy must have gone out and ate it. It was crazy.
Oh, he ate the turtle. I see now.
It was crazy.
That's the real end of the joke.
It wasn't a joke.
I know it really happened, right? God forbid that was a joke. So I guess I've known you for, I don't know, for a little while now, and you've come on the show a bunch of times, and we've gotten, you know, and I was kind of surprised because someone told me that Norm MacDonald, has gotten kind of, you know, superstitious, and I thought, that's odd, because I don't think of you as that kind of person.
I never was. I was always a doubting Thomas. I couldn't think of the name. I was always a doubting, I was going to say Fred for some reason. I was always a doubting Thomas, you know. I was always, nah, that stuff, that's not true. That's a load of stuff, you know. So, but then I had this thing, you wouldn't believe it. You know, it opened my eyes and made a believer out of me. What happened was I had a dream, and it was like the number 7 in my dream. A giant number 7. Wow. It was the most vivid dream I ever had. So I wake up from the dream, right?
I'm with you.
Yeah. So I wake up from the dream, from this number 7. I look over at my clock, 7 o'clock, right?
Wow.
So I get up. It's not that coincidental.
No, I'm just sort of going along with you. Yeah.
So then I go out and I decide, hey, why don't I take a cab, you know? So I get in the cab, and it's cab number 7, I notice, when I'm in the cab. Now I'm starting to get a little freaked out, you know? And so I say, hey, take me to the track. I enjoy playing the ponies, you know what
Sure,
I mean?
I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
I like going down there, Cohen. I like visiting my money. So,
you crack me up.
My uncle used to say that. So I go to the track, you know, and I say, okay, what do I owe you there, fella? He says, $7.77.
Oh.
I said, good Lord. I said, I thought it was like 40 cents. Anyways. So I go, here you go. I pay him, you know. I gave him like $8, you know.
Right.
So I walk through, like, I walk through gate 7, you know. Went up to ticket window number 7 there at the horse place, you know. And I look up, they have the form there, you know, the racing form shows you all the races. So I look and I see in the 7th race, there's a horse called Lucky 7. And he pays 77 to 1, you know? So I say, to hell with this. I say, I'm going to pull out all my money. I pull out all my money. I had like $700.
Wow.
Pull it out. I said, put this all on Lucky 7th and a 7th, you know? I go watch the race. Damn if he didn't come in 7th.
That's incredible. What an amazing story. Well, that's an incredible story, Norm.
I'm sorry about cursing. I forgot that.
That's all right. We're on cable by now.
Every day I meet somebody new, you know. This city's great because of the neighborly people, you know. I don't know. But I did meet one neighbor, interesting story, you know, that this guy, he just moved in, you know, next door to me. So I'm always one to meet the neighbors.
You like to chat with the neighbors,
Yeah, because, you know, so I went over to the guy, knocked on the door next door to where I live, and I say to the guy, I said, hey, I'm your new neighbor, you know, and I said, good to see you, you know, nice to run into you, you know, welcome to the neighborhood, you know. And so the guy, I said, what do you do for a living there, sir, you know, if you don't mind me asking? You know, what do you do for a living? I'm a nightclub comic, I tell the guy. So he says to me, he says, I work down at the University of Science there. He says,
that's a good school, by the way.
I can't remember the exact place.
Sure.
But he says, I'm a professor of logic.
Oh.
So he says, the guy says, logic. Now, what the hell is that? I never heard tell of that. He says, oh, well, he says it's a kind of a pattern of syllogistic. Well, he says it's hard to explain. He says, why don't I give you an example? So I said, fair enough. Why don't you do that? So the guy says, well, he says, let me ask you a question. He says, do you own a doghouse? So I go, yes, I do. He says, well, then that means you probably have a dog. I said, yes. He says, well, that means you're likely you have a family if you have a dog. I said, yes, I do. He said, well, then that means you got kids, you're married. I said, yes, yes, I am. He says, well, then you're a heterosexual man. I said, yes, sir, I am. He says, well, you see, that's logic there. I asked if simply from finding out you had a doghouse, I made this series of inferences, and I found that you're a heterosexual man simply from the fact that you had a doghouse. Well, I said, good God, isn't that something?
Okay.
So I said, well, I won't waste any more of your time there, neighbor. And I said, I'll see you later.
See you around. Okay.
So I said, come by one day and have a chicken with me. So anyways, I left. So I left. So I go to get a bus, you know, to the bus stop. And I walk down to the bus stop, and I'm still thinking about this thing that happened to me, you know. And I'm standing at the bus, and no bus coming at all, you know, and 5 or 6 of us standing around, and one guy lights up a cigarette there, and he goes, as soon as you light up a cigarette, the bus comes. And He smokes the whole damn cigarette, no bus counts.
Right.
So I said to the guy, well, that theory really worked, huh?
Yeah.
And the guy goes, well, sometimes it works. Anyways, the guy goes, what's new with you? I go, well, I had an interesting thing happen to me today. I said, I met my neighbor. And he goes, oh, yeah? I go, he had a hell of an interesting job. I said, he's a professor of logic down at the University of
Science. Yeah.
And so the guy says, is that so? He says, professor of logic. He goes, what the hell is that, logic? I said, well, it's a series of Scylla something or other.
Right.
I said, I can't remember exactly, but I said, I'll give you an example if you want to hear an example.
Yeah.
So the guy goes, all right, fair enough. So I said, let me ask you this. I said, let me ask you a question. Do you own a doghouse? And the guy goes, no, I don't own a doghouse. So the guy says, oh, yeah, you're one of them gays.
And it worked, right? What great stuff you can learn at
Yeah, it was
that
nice.
University of Science there.
And then the guy, and then get this. Get this.
There's more?
This gay guy
Yeah?
invites me to have a chicken at his place.
That's some kind of euphemism.
Yeah, I don't
Watch
know.
out. You got a week off.
Yeah, I got a week off coming up. After this show, I got a week off, so it's going to be great.
Do you see your family much?
Every break, I like to go back and see my folks, you know, and also my uncles and aunts and all that, you know. They're great people. The old people, you know, what I find about the old people is...
Just in general.
In general, they had so much more interesting lives than we do, you know. Like, you know what I mean? Like we, you know, we go out, our generation, we go, okay, hey, let's go to a movie, and then we'll do the laundry and get some quarters for the laundry, and then we'll read the Sports Illustrated, you know, and whatever, right?
Right.
But these guys, they had lives, you know? Where they, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah. So anyways, for instance, my Uncle Phil. You ever meet my Uncle Phil?
I didn't meet your Uncle Phil, no.
Oh, you didn't? He was...
Yeah, we don't know each other that well. Remember?
That's true.
No,
So,
I've not met your Uncle Phil.
He's a good man, Uncle Phil. So he was telling me, you know, he's just one of these guys that has so many lives pushed into one. He just does so many things, you know? And he was telling me, he says, he's a kind of a jack of all trades, you'd call him.
Yeah. That's a good phrase.
Yeah, he's a jack of all trades. So he was telling me, he said, the problem is you're not really appreciated for any single thing because you're so good at so many things. You understand what I mean?
I hear you.
Yeah. So he said to me one time, he says, Norm, he says, we were just walking through his town, you know, of Monkland, Maine he lives in. And we were just walking through the town. He's an old fella, you know?
Right, one of the old people.
Yeah, he's 80.
Yeah, 80, okay.
80 years young, he says. So he goes, Norm, you see that barn over there, he says to me. I look over, there's a barn. I go, yeah. He goes, I built that barn with my own hands, all by myself. But he goes, do they call me, do they say there's Phil, the barn builder? No, sir, he says. I said, yeah. He goes, look over there, you see that weather balloon? He says, you don't know this about me, Norm. He says, I was one of the first men ever to fly in a weather balloon.
Wow.
He says, but do they say, hey, there goes Phil, the weather balloon pioneer? No. He says, look over there's a bakery that I started. You know, that dirty bastard Bob has it now, but I'm the guy that started that bakery. And I go, all right, easy. And he goes, I started that bakery and I was the best baker, but does anybody go, oh, there goes Phil, the great baker? No, he says, but he says, let me tell you something, Norm. He says, you have sex with one goat. And... He says, people then, they say, there goes Phil, the dirty goat.
Get rid of that. Somebody just said, you got a vice. You've got a vice, and we should talk about it here. Not the dirty, dirty sex. I don't know about that, but you're a gambling man, aren't you? You like to gamble.
Well, I like to gamble legally, not with bookies, especially not with that... Anyway.
What the hell almost happened there? You must have had a little meltdown there.
No, I don't like bookies anymore. But...
Anymore?
I've never liked
I don't like the mafia anymore.
No, but the thing is, I like to go to Las Vegas and Atlantic City. That's a beautiful town, Atlantic City.
Yeah.
And you guys from Atlantic City?
No. I just wanted to shout.
Okay. So, yeah, like I went to Vegas a couple weeks ago and a funny thing happened. Hey, Andy.
Hi.
And a funny thing happened there in Vegas, right?
Mm-hmm.
I go there, you know, to gamble. I meet a couple of midgets, you know?
Couple of midgets?
Yeah.
Little people, I call them.
Well, I don't think of people as little people.
Yeah, your word's better.
Yeah.
Go ahead anyway. You meet a couple of midgets.
I know a lot of people in show business talk about the little people.
Right.
But I think everybody's the same. The midgets, the regular people.
Okay.
You know? We're all human beings.
We're all human beings. That's good. You're not. That's good. You have a good attitude.
Some of us are, you know, short and have weird big heads. So, anyway, these guys.
That neck went out there for a second, but it's better now.
These two midgets, man, they were the funniest dudes. And one of them was telling me that him and his buddy decided to get a couple of prostitutes, you know, because midgets, they can't have sex very much with the women, you know. And, so they say, we'll get a couple of prostitutes.
I didn't know that, but okay. Yeah.
So they say, let's get a couple of prostitutes, right? So the other midget goes, hey, man, that's great. So,
what are they, Cheech and Chong? Like you're two midgets, like, hey, dude. Yeah, man, that sounds heavy.
Well, you know.
All right.
So the midgets, the one midget, they get their two prostitutes, you know, and they take them up to their room, you know, in the hotel. And so the one midget, he gets in the room with the girl. And
they're in separate rooms here?
Yeah, separate rooms, but they're adjoining.
Right.
So the one midget, he gets the prostitute, and he wants to have sex with her, but he'd been drinking a lot, so he had trouble, like, performing, you know.
Yes, I know.
Right. Nobody knows better than you about that. So, the one midget, he gets in with his girl, but he's too drunk to perform, and he feels real bad, right? So then, this is what the guy's telling me, the midget. He goes down, then afterwards, he says, okay, get out, you dirty whore, you know? He blames her, you know?
Right, blames her,
yeah.
Okay.
So she leaves, and then he's feeling all bad, so he listens with a glass to the next room where his buddy is with his prostitute.
Right.
And he hears, like, in the next room, he hears, 1, 2, ah! 1, 2, ah! 1, 2, ah! 1, 2, ah!
Right.
1, 2, ah!
Right. Stop doing it.
So he goes, oh, that dirty midget's having some fun sex over there, you know? So...
He calls him a midget too? Yeah. But he's a midget. All right, whatever.
So he feels bad, you know?
Right.
And the next day, man, he meets his buddy midget at the coffee shop. He goes, and the guy goes, hey, man, how'd it go last night? And the one guy goes, oh, man, it was horrible, you know? I was too drunk. I couldn't perform with my prostitute. He goes, but it sounds like you had a good time. And then the other guy, midget, goes, what, are you kidding? I couldn't even get up into the bed.
That you ran into those guys because it's such a good story.
I know. It's a happy ending. They did very good at Baccarat, and
they were happy. Now listen, we want to talk about your uncle because every time you come on the show, you have a story about your uncle who lives up in Canada.
Oh yeah, he's a Frenchman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you always have like a little story about him. Jean-Luc.
Oh yeah, he's a crazy character, that dude. He originally visited New York City. Hello?
I'm just having a drink. I can listen to you and have a drink. It's not like I went like this. Hold it. Ooh. Ah, liquid. Huh? I'm still here. Let's see if I got this right. You've got an uncle, lives up in Canada, named Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc.
Occasionally he visits. Once time he visited New York.
So I'm living in New York, you know? And Jean-Luc, I'm excited. Jean-Luc's going to come by, my crazy Frenchman uncle. So he gets in the cab, right?
When he gets to the airport.
Yeah, he gets to the airport, the cab driver picks him up, and the cab driver says to him, hey, Frenchman, he says,
he says, do you like riddles, So my Uncle Jean-Luc is like, yes, I love the riddles. That's how he talks. He goes, I like nothing better than a riddle. So the cabbie's like, all right, here's one, right? So he said, here's the riddle. His brothers and sisters, I have none, but this man's father is my father's son. So my uncle goes, I don't know. Right? So the cabbie goes, it's me. It's me.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
Oh, he thinks about it. Oh, my God, he says, that's a good riddle there. He says, I have to tell my wife, Mary Claire, when I get back to Gaspé. That's where he lives, Gaspé.
Right.
So he's like, take me back to the airport. And the cabbie's like, what? Right? The cabbie's like, I thought you wanted to go visit Norm then. No. I go back to the airport. All right, I have to tell Mary Claire. Seems odd, right? Gets back on the plane, flies all the way back home there to Gaspé. And he gets back, right? Runs in the door. Mary Claire, red vous, where are you, Mary Claire? Come on down here, I have a riddle for you. She goes, oh, Jean-Luc, I love the riddle. She's a woman, high voice.
Michael Jackson was visiting. Yeah, all right.
So, you're going to love this riddle. How was New York? Forget about that. I got the riddle. Brothers and sisters, I have none. But this man's father, he is my father's son. She goes, I don't know. Who is it? Some cab driver back in New York.
You didn't mean to do that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Be honest, you didn't mean to do that.
At all. I just got to the end. That guy, man, I always tell my uncle, you shouldn't curse so much.
Oh, man. All right.
Yo, what up? All right, we got another one from Norm MacDonald. Norm MacDonald, one of the greatest comedians to ever live. Some say he is the greatest comedian to ever live. And yeah, this is him on, looks like him on Conan. Him on the Conan O'Brien show doing stand-up. And this is To Hell with Flossing. To Hell with Flossing. Okay. Norm MacDonald on Conan. Let's go.
Hey, thanks a lot there. Thanks.
Early Norm. Young Norm.
Thanks, good to be here, and I'm feeling good and everything. I had a rough day today, though. I bit my tongue. You ever do that? Yeah! And I got a big purpley thing on the side of my tongue there, and hurts like a bastard, and it's embarrassing biting your tongue there, because, you just, you're walking down the street there, minding your own business, you're just, doodly-doo. Oh! Then you bit your tongue, you got this bit tongue going there, and everybody looking at you, and man, that's bad. People go, hey, what's the matter there? What happened to you? You go, They go, what, you bite your tongue? No, it's my uncle died. But I was thinking about it today, actually. I'm surprised that I don't bite my tongue all the time, because I got so many teeth, I got I got 50, 100 teeth in my head, and they're all right around my tongue, they're all right near the vicinity of my tongue, and they'll bite anything, my teeth, they don't care, Could be a pork sandwich, could be my tongue. What do they care? They just bite. That's all they know. That's all they know. They're not trained for anything else. They just bite. I got too many teeth. That's the problem. I got like 1,500 teeth, and I only need, I don't know, I never count them, but I like to deal with round numbers. But I got a lot of teeth, and I don't need hardly any of them, you know, because a lot of them are like, I got fangs here. You ever see these teeth going here? You got big fangs sticking out, which you got no use for, you know, because that's from back in the old days. You needed them back then to, like, whatever, you know. You know what I mean? You had to go out in the morning and stalk a gazelle and rip his throat out with your teeth. But, you know, you don't have to do that anymore, do you?
No.
Thank God those days are over, huh, folks? Remember back then when you had to wake up? Ah! Ah!
Yeah.
Pliers and pull out. Like, I figure I only need like maybe 6 teeth. I tested it out on a sandwich, you know. All I need, I eat a sandwich, and there's like 4, 5, 6 teeth marks, and that's it. There's no 1,500 teeth marks. I lost the tooth back in the back of my head, and my dentist wanted to take it out. I said, just leave it, man. I don't need to grind cornmeal or anything like that. You know where you don't want to miss a tooth, though? You ever see a guy no tooth up here in the front? Oh, that looks bad. Oh, man. You look like the stupidest guy in the world. You got no tooth there. You could be the smartest guy in the world, but you got no tooth, and people just think that you're the stupidest guy, you know? You could be the smartest guy in the world, talking to all the other smart guys. Oh, listen now, other smart guys. Listen as I tell you. And people go, hey, you got no tooth there. What the hell are you talking about? Take a look in the mirror. Hey, ah. But you got to take care of your teeth. That's what I brush them. You ever do that? Sure, yeah. Everybody has. What am I asking that for? I got trying to floss. That's a tough thing to get into. Huh? That's a bastard, that flossing. Oh my God, you got a rope there in between your teeth. And then after you're finished, your mouth's a big gushing fountain of blood going there. You know, you go, this feels good now. I feel a little faint, but I got that thing with I got that piece of pork from the pork sandwich. So that's good, I got that. So I don't floss. The hell with flossing, I say, you know. I do the next best thing. You know what I do? What I do is I tell my dentist that I floss. I just lie to the guy. What the hell do I care? I'm just a dentist, you know. They don't care. The dentists, they don't know any better, you know. He goes, hey, Norm, you've been flossing lately like I told you there. And I go, yeah, yes. And he goes, yeah, you have, because I can't help but notice all the plaque in between your teeth there. I can't help it. There's plaque all between your teeth. And I go, oh, Yes. Well, that's dentist. That's because on my way over here to the dentist's office, on my way from the place where I was, I come over here. I stopped at I had a bowl of some plaque. I had some bowl of plaque. I had a big dish of plaque there. They had it down at the restaurant. They had half a pork sandwich and a bowl of plaque. It was their special. And then he goes, all right, fair enough. Where you go? Okay, well, I got no ending to that. But God bless you folks.
My goodness. He was just up there talking. That's why he didn't have an ending. It's like, oh my goodness. This nigga Norm. This nigga Norm. Man. Yeah, flossing is, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. And he said the fangs. We used to wake up in the morning. How we used to wake up in the morning. We used to be animals. We used to be animals. Our fangs used to be bigger. because we used them. Man, Norm's right. Norm is right. He was just telling the truth. Man, I think we don't need like our back teeth. Like what other teeth don't we use? Norm's kind of right though. He said you bite into a sandwich, you only see 6 print. I mean, like what teeth? What tooths don't we use? I know there's some teeth that we don't use in our mouth. I think it's like our back teeth that are like, or maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe we need all our teeth. You know, take care of all your teeth because you're gonna need all your teeth. You're gonna need all your teeth. You know, and I guess, you know, you want to try to tell the dentist the truth so they know what they're getting into. Go up in there, completely lie to the dentist. He's gonna know. The dentist is gonna know as soon as you open your mouth. The dentist, you ain't gonna be able to hide. You can tell him anything you want, but as soon as you open your mouth, he gonna know if it's a lie or the truth. But I mean, dentists aren't like doctors, or like you you know, you can't fib to the dentist. Have you been brushing daily? Yeah, of course I have. You know. But yeah, Norm. I think Norm definitely is one of the greatest comics of all time. I think he's like belongs on like the Mount Rushmore. And then when you think about it, like, it's hard to find like Norm specials. Like he hasn't done like any like you know, any like, you know, I'm not gonna say like Netflix specials, because I've seen he has like a couple Netflix specials, but he should have specials. He should have like 10 specials. Like HBO specials and, you know, all these other specials. You know, it's kind of like Bobby Lee. I think Bobby Lee's about to do a special for the first time. It's like, you should have been doing specials, Bobby. You should have been doing specials. But yeah.
Weekend update with NORM MACDONALD.
Thank you. I'm Norm MacDonald, and now the fake news. Yesterday, Simpson trial Judge Lancito allowed that mystery envelope to be opened, and it appears Simpson may already have won $10 million. The first deaf Miss America, Heather Whitestone, was crowned last week in Atlantic City. Although completely deaf, she is an expert lip reader. Personally, I don't think she's that pretty, you know. Not my cup of tea. Well, David Hasselhoff is a huge rock star in Germany, where his latest album sold 5 million copies this week, which once again proves my theory: Germans love David Hasselhoff. Christy Brinkley told reporters this week that her marriage to Billy Joel was over long before their divorce. The key moment, she said, came when she realized that she was Christy Brinkley and that she was married to Billy Joel. And in a related story, this week marked the 5,000th performance of the Broadway musical Cats. It also marked the 5,000th time a guy turned to his wife and said, "What the hell is this?" And finally, John Wayne Bobbitt is going to be an adult film star. He has been signed to play himself in the John Wayne Bobbitt story. The part of his severed penis will be portrayed by Pauly Shore. According to an obscure 14th century law, British Army Captain James Hewitt could be hanged for having an affair with Princess Diana. The punishment for having sex with Princess Diana is death. The punishment for having sex with Princess Anne is having sex with Princess Anne. Las Vegas mogul Steve Wynn has announced plans for a new hotel, 46 stories high, set on a 17-acre island in the middle of a 50-acre artificial lake on the Las Vegas Strip. In a related story, Motel 6 now has shampoo. Well, a beef-flavored water for dog hit stores this week. And dogs are eagerly anticipating the arrival next month of the newest water flavor, other dogs' asses. Dr. James Watts, a neurosurgeon who performed the first frontal lobotomy, died this week in Washington. If you recall, a lobotomy involves drilling holes in the skull and then inserting and rotating a knife to destroy brain cells. What a genius, he'll be missed. Former First Lady Nancy Reagan reports that her husband has been relaxing at their ranch, riding horses and chopping wood. Sadly, eyewitnesses report that he was actually riding wood and chopping horses. Ted Kennedy says now that he's won re-election, he can finally relax, get off that crazy diet, and really let himself go. Yeah, Ricky Lake, you know, she really is an animal lover, though. She has 3 cats, 2 dogs, and a big ass that follows her around everywhere. Well, there may be trouble in paradise. Lisa Marie Presley confirmed this week that she and Michael Jackson live in separate residences 50 miles away from each other. Lisa Marie was quoted as saying, "I guess being married to a homosexual pedophile wasn't such a great idea after all." Kenny G has a Christmas album out this year. Hey, happy birthday, Jesus. Hope you like crap. Well, a study this week reports seafood is good for you unless it's fried. Yet another groundbreaking story from the pages of the medical journal, Duh. A new FBI study shows that for the first time, Americans are more likely to be killed by a stranger than a loved one or acquaintance. Their advice? Introduce yourself to as many people as possible. A sheepdog carrying $250,000 worth of cocaine in its stomach was found at JFK Airport earlier this week. A customs agent got suspicious when he saw 2 airline employees taking turns sniffing the dog's ass. O.J. Simpson's lawyers have decided to skip hearings on DNA evidence and go right to trial. Asked why they did this, the lawyers replied, "We want to get O.J. acquitted as speedily as possible so he can get back to doing what he does best, killing people." There's a new 24-hour cable TV channel now. It's called Fish TV. The channel shows a giant aquarium of fish 24 hours a day, except from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. when it shows the Byron Allen Show. In a survey this week, men said they preferred penis size to height. 62% of men said they'd rather be 5'2" with a 7-inch penis. 36% said they'd rather be 6'3" with a 3-inch penis. And the remaining 2% said they'd rather be 1'4" with a 300-inch penis. Here we see the president and the first bitch. Hey, slow down, you bitch. Let me catch up. A 51-year-old cosmonaut set a world space endurance record this week after spending 367 days aboard the Russian space station Mir. And also, as a side note, he also smashed his own masturbation record. In Walnut Creek, California, anyone who turns in his gun can get free therapy. And anyone who doesn't turn in his gun can get free anything. According to a controversial new biography, Elizabeth Taylor likes her lovemaking loud, rough, and frequent. Coincidentally, that's also how she likes to eat. Well, it's official. There you go. Michael Jordan is leaving baseball to return to basketball. It is unclear whether the media will now refer to him by his old basketball nickname, Air Jordan, or his more recent baseball nickname, Senior Crappy. Newlyweds Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson had their first argument this week. He wants kids, while she wants fake kids. A new study says that people who quit smoking have healthier lungs. Yet another groundbreaking story from the pages of the medical journal, Duh. And in court this week, Cato Kalin testified that O.J. Simpson did not appear angry before or after the period of his wife's murder. But Kalin admitted he could have been a touch edgy while he was actually murdering her. Might have been a... Leona Helmsley fired a maid this week for stealing her Victoria's Secret lingerie. And you think she looks hot here, huh? Imagine, if you would, with the Hertz rental car company announced this week that it will buy 520,000 vehicles, increasing its worldwide fleet 24%. In addition, they will try to find a new spokesman who won't kill his ex-wife. And finally, the Diamond Council of America advises that men spend 2 months' salary on an engagement ring, while the American Housing Company suggests that you spend 25% of your salary on rent. Interestingly, the U.S. Crack Association recommends that you spend all your salary on crack. In medical news this week, scientists report there may soon be a vaccine for drug addicts, which completely eliminates the craving for cocaine. They caution, however, that the vaccine is extremely dangerous, highly addictive, and costs $10,000 a gram. This week at the O.J. Simpson trial, the infamous bloody glove was finally introduced into evidence, and O.J. didn't help his case any by blurting out, "There it is, I've been looking all over for that thing." That's whoa. In a bid to boost low attendance, officials at the New Jersey State Aquarium have announced plans for a $4 million facelift. In addition, flashing neon signs will be placed outside the aquarium, stating that the fish are, quote, all nude all the time. Julia Roberts told reporters this week that her marriage to Lyle Lovett has been over for some time. The key moment, she said, came when she realized that she was Julia Roberts and that she was married to Lyle Lovett. Last week, Duchess of York Sarah Ferguson visited the Big Apple and showed off her 14-pound weight loss. Hopefully, this will not interfere with her official duties of sitting on her fat ass all day long. Well, singer Willie Nelson, who was arrested recently in Texas for marijuana possession, saw the charges against him dropped this week. A judge ruled the arrest had been illegal because police didn't have probable cause to search his car for pot. How about the fact he's Willie Nelson? Well, the magazine POV came out this week with a list of the best and worst jobs to have in the next century. Their 3 best were, in this order, multimedia software designer, management consultant, and interactive advertising executive. While their worst, for the 3rd year in a row, crack whore. Dismissed Simpson juror Jeanette Harris revealed in interviews this week that the jury is torn by dissension and is already divided into 2 camps, those who think he is guilty and those who are really, really stupid. A Cambridge, Massachusetts juror found City Councilman William Walsh not guilty of malicious destruction of property after he removed 2 dildos from a sculpture in the City Hall Annex. Walsh's defense was that he was walking by, saw them, and said to himself, Hey, free dildos. Look at there. Well, Premiere Magazine's list of the 100 most powerful people in Hollywood hit the newsstands this month. In an odd bit of ranking, Demi Moore was ranked number 28, while her breasts were ranked 20 and 21. So, at a press conference this week, Washington Mayor Marion Barry said he wants private businesses to provide 5,000 summer jobs for a district youth program. He also wants some crack. At Virginia Commonwealth University, a professor is being sued following revelations that he spanked one of his students. It was the student's parents who first became suspicious when they asked, "What kind of marks are you getting?" And she replied, "Big red ones on my ass." So, for the 5th year in a row, People magazine has named John F. Kennedy Jr. one of its 50 most beautiful people. Meanwhile, Big Red Nose magazine has named Ted Kennedy one of its 50 faces most ravaged by drink. Well, in Buffalo, Wyoming, a truck jackknifed this week, spilling hundreds of sticks of dynamite on the I-90 interstate, though officials noted that there is absolutely no danger as long as you're protected by magic. Yeah, I wish I was protected by magic. All right. In stock market news this week, April's 3 biggest losers were Cantab Pharmaceuticals, Champion Enterprises, and Crapco, which manufactures crap. And also crap-related items, most recently Mariah Carey's Christmas album. Due to expected cutbacks in funding for PBS's The Frugal Gourmet, has announced that he'll be changing his name to The Cheap Bastard. Well, in a questionable move by the defense team this week, O.J. Simpson demonstrated how to stab 2 people at the same time. Well, Gary Busey left the hospital this week after overdosing on cocaine last Friday. Doctors say Busey is okay and he should be back in the hospital in no time. Last Friday in Washington, D.C., the city's elementary school students pledged to stay drug-free as a gift to their moms on Mother's Day. Meanwhile, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry got his mom a great big box of chocolates. The Walt Disney Company has announced plans to build a $300 million hotel and entertainment complex in New York's Times Square. Construction begins next spring on their first attraction, Crack Horrors of the Caribbean. The American Academy of Pediatrics has released an updated list of unsafe baby products. Topping the list this year is the really, 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 really high chair. Officials in Disney World have ordered their ride, the Extra Terror Estrial, to be shut down until it can be made scarier. When the attraction reopens in 2 weeks, it will be exactly the same, but missing 6 bolts. The United Paramount Network's new show, Star Trek Voyager, finished in first place Monday night with a 14.7 rating. For those of you who don't know, 1 rating point is equal to 950,000 nerds. In his book, O.J. Simpson says that he would have taken a bullet or stood in front of a train for Nicole. Man, I'm going to tell you, that is some bad luck when the one guy who would have died for you kills you. That's probably... You don't get worse luck than that. Taco Bell this week introduced a new light menu, as well as a new slogan, half the fat, but still tastes like crap. OJ's pal Al Cowlings now has a 1-900 number. For $2.99 a minute, Cowlings will tell callers that OJ is innocent. And for $3.99 a minute, he'll try to do it without laughing.
And now a correction to a story we ran last week. Prince Charles is actually the one in the middle. So we apologize for that. 130 years after the Civil War, the state of Mississippi has finally voted to abolish slavery. Representatives say they would have liked to have done it sooner, but they were delayed due to some awfully big cotton crops. They had some kind of big cotton thing. All right. And finally, the Oscar nominations were announced this week, and Tom Hanks and Jodie Foster are in a heated competition in the Academy's controversial new category, Best Retard. Well, there's good news this week from strife-torn Ireland, where a historic peace agreement has just been signed. Gee, I wonder if anyone will celebrate by drinking. New medical research shows that men and women have different food cravings. Men preferring meat and women preferring sweets. Scientists trace this back to caveman days, when men had to go out and hunt for food while women sat on their fat asses eating chocolates. Washington Power to some Mary Madeline and James Carville are expecting their first baby in July. No one knows if the baby will be a Democrat or a Republican, but doctors are sure of one thing. It will be weird looking. This was Colin Ferguson's first week in prison. Ferguson has reportedly dismissed his cellmate, and from now on he will be acting as his own bitch. The richest girl in the world, billionaire Athena Onassis, celebrated her 10th birthday this week. What's it like to be the richest girl in the world? Well, to give you some idea, at the party, they had 2 cakes. Due to a change in policy, Amtrak employees will no longer be able to kick homeless people out of Penn Station based on the way they look. From now on, they will have to go solely on urine stench. Some teenagers are snorting or injecting Ritalin, a drug prescribed to treat attention deficit disorder in children. Drug abuse experts warn that Ritalin can cause accelerated blood pressure, along with enhanced mental alertness, a surge of energy, and an increased sense of self-confidence. And remember, kids, those are bad things. Last week at a dramatic press conference about the crash of TWA Flight 800, ABC News correspondent Pierre Salinger displayed a document which he believes is proof that the jet was shot down by a U.S. Navy missile. Later, he proudly showed reporters his solid gold Rolex that he bought on the street for just $15. One ugly bastard, isn't it? Well, it is finally official. Murder is legal in the state of California. A down-and-out O.J. Simpson, depressed that all of his money-making ideas have failed, has decided to go back to doing what he does best, killing people. And there's Charles Woodson. How about that? And what a season he had. Great, man. He became the first defensive player to win the Heisman Trophy. And congratulations, Charles. That is something that no one can ever take away from you. Unless you kill your wife and a waiter, in which case... all bets are off. Just a word of advice. A new book claims that Madonna once smeared peanut butter all over John F. Kennedy Jr.'s body and then licked it off, which just goes to show you Madonna's a whore. And finally, Weekend Update would like to congratulate Madonna, who gave birth
to a beautiful baby girl last Monday. The baby weighed in at 6 pounds 9 ounces, making it the 4th largest object ever to pass through Madonna's birth canal. This week, in a secret ceremony in Australia, Michael Jackson was married for the 2nd time. Asked what makes his new bride special, the King of Pop said, quote, "She has taught me about the power of imagination, like imagining that a grown woman is a 10-year-old boy." You know he's a homosexual pedophile, right? You understand? Sources report that Michael Jackson's baby is due February 27th, and it's going to be named Michael Jackson Jr. Michael plans to be with the mother during the delivery, in his words, to make up for not being there for the Sources report that Michael Jackson's baby is due February 27th. It's conception. The last word was conception, so.
Michael Jackson. He said, I heard a quote where he said, I don't care if my child is a boy or a girl, as long as it's a boy. He's going to name it. He said he doesn't know what he's going to name it. He said he thinks if it's a girl, he's going to name it Sharon.
Really?
Yeah. And if it's a boy, he's going to have sex with it.
I came in and he was supposed to be the my guide through SNL, and it turned out that he is a shit stirrer.
I'm not going to guide any lady through comedy. That would take me, first of all, I'd have to figure out how a lady could do comedy. And then I'd have to...
Safer drivers, men or women? Well, according to a new survey, 55% of adults feel that women are most responsible for minor fender benders, while 78% blame men for most fatal crashes. Please note that the percentage in these pie graphs do not add up to 100% because the math was done by a woman. For those of you hissing at that joke, it should be noted that that joke was written by a woman. So now you don't know what the hell to do. No, I'm just kidding. We don't hire women. Here we see the president and the first bitch. Gosh, Hillary looks pretty in this photo here, doesn't she? Never realized she was such a looker till I see her here in this picture. But you see, the only way Bill Clinton, or Bob Dole can win, really, is if Bill Clinton is rocked with more scandals. You know, there's every day a new scandal comes up, you know. I heard this one today, terrible scandal, apparently. Way back when he was governor of Arkansas, Bill Clinton, apparently, he got really drunk one night, and he had sex with Hillary.
Wow. That's a shocking, shocking thing.
Yeah. And how long have you been married?
7 months.
7 months, which is a record.
No, this is the first. I've been married, Larry, but I've never been married.
Married.
This is married.
Married like...
She's my friend, like I love her.
I see. That's what Clinton says about his wife, isn't it?
In Whitewater news, federal regulators quizzed Hillary Clinton at the White House this week and gave her a perfect score on the lying section. She's a dirty liar.
You know, of course, they say the White House is haunted. Did you know that? And I thought this was kind of sad. I heard last night that President Clinton charged Abraham Lincoln's ghost $10,000 to sleep in his own bed. So that doesn't seem right to me, you know? I mean... No. But look, the president, you know, has come under a lot of fire for raising money, but you know, he's good at raising money. That's not a bad thing. Every president's done it. It's just that President Clinton is very, very, very good at it. Do you know he has organized in the past year over 100 fundraising dinners?
and over 200 fundraising midnight snacks. Did you know that? Is he laughing? Is he? Is he?
Okay, Norm, you're Canadian.
Yes, I am.
So what do you think of this whole presidential mess?
Well, I hope that the Democrats don't steal the election from the winner, you know, but who knows?
You like George Bush, don't you?
I love George Bush, man. He's a good man, decent, you know, none of this. He's, you know, he's not a liar, a crook, murderer, or anything like that, so it'd be good to get the... See, I think we should get the homicide out of the White House and get like a fresh start, because we don't want any more murderers.
I think we should just go on to the next question.
Oh.
Who's murderers? Yeah.
Oh, Clinton, he murdered a guy.
Yeah, you know, we're not allowed to, you're not allowed to put out no accusations without
That's a little too far.
That's the way it does work.
Let's just go on to the next question.
Yeah.
This is not my week. What can I tell you?
Oh, it's not mine either, and I'm being very nice, okay? Be a good boy. Now, Norm.
Do you never hear that?
No. Listen, we don't need to talk
want to get
about
into this, and I don't want to hear it, and this is not the place to make those accusations, and you're supposed to be funny. Let's get on to the next question. So get with it.
There you go.
This is a live show.
Why? Norm, but you have been properly chastised by Barbara, so I'm now going to ask the next question.
I thought it was a matter of record.
Shut up.
Shut up. Look,
okay.
let me do this, okay?
I'll tell you what's a matter of record. You will not be invited back if you don't shut up. All right, now. Let's talk football.
All right, manslaughter.
Let's talk football.
We ran last week. Prince Charles is actually the one in the middle. In the wake of the verdict, angry Menendez defense attorney Leslie Abramson said the jury simply chose not to believe the brothers' excuse that they had been sexually abused by their father, and says she knows why. Quote, "It's because my clients are black." And the Pope came out with a book this week, which contains a series of essays examining faith and morality in today's secular world and the changing role of the Catholic Church as it approaches the 21st century. The book is entitled, "God Himself Told Me That O.J. is Guilty." In an interview in this month's Vanity Fair, actor Tom Cruise attempts to end once and for all rumors that he is gay. In an interview this week, Bob Dole said he is strong enough to handle the pain of losing the presidential election, although he did admit that the shock of winning would give him a giant heart attack. A study on weight loss revealed this week that women who participate in a weekly diet program lost 50% more weight, snacked less, and bought more fruits and vegetables than women in general, which just goes to prove my new theory: Richard Simmons is gay. According to an obscure 14th century law, British Army Captain James Hewitt could be hanged for having an affair with Princess Diana. The punishment for having sex with Princess Diana is death. The punishment for having sex with Princess Anne is having sex with Princess Anne. Demi Moore is wrapped filming on G.I. Jane, in which she plays a Navy SEAL combat officer. Moore says that in contrast to other Hollywood portrayals of women in the military, her character will have giant breasts. And finally, John Wayne Bobbitt is going to be an adult film star. He has been signed to play himself in the John Wayne Bobbitt story. The part of his severed penis will be portrayed by Pauly Shore. F. Lee Bailey said this week that if the defense only knew what Ron Goldman's last words were, they might be able to find the real killer. You know, if you ask me, Goldman's last words were probably, "Hey, you're O.J. Simpson." Last week on Larry King Live, Marlon Brando made the shocking statement that Hollywood is, quote, "run by Jews." In response, outraged Jewish organizations made it snow in New York in April. 130 years after the Civil War, the state of Mississippi has finally voted to abolish slavery. Representatives say they would have liked to have done it sooner, but they were delayed due to some awfully big cotton crops. They had some kind of big cotton thing. All right. 4 Pittsburgh children were found in a house strewn with garbage and human waste after they'd been abandoned by their parents for 2 weeks. The couple was charged with child endangerment, but to their credit, they did bring the children a present. A T-shirt that reads, "My parents left me for 2 weeks in a house full of human waste, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt." Former First Lady Nancy Reagan reports that her husband has been relaxing at their ranch, riding horses and chopping wood. Sadly, eyewitnesses report that he was actually riding wood and chopping horses. Finally, folks, next week, Jews everywhere will be celebrating the holiday of Yom Kippur, or as non-Jews refer to it, Wednesday. This week, President Clinton played golf with ex-presidents Gerald Ford and George Bush. Bush hit an old lady in the face with a golf ball, giving her a broken nose and 10 stitches. But don't be impressed, it took him 5 strokes to do it, so... And finally, in honor of the 50th anniversary of their first publication, Random House will be releasing special commemorative issues of many Dr. Seuss classics. The first to hit the bookshelves will be Green Eggs and Ham and O.J. is Guilty. This week, a court banned gays from marching in Boston's St. Patrick's Day parade, but they will still allow them to be beaten up by drunken Irish guys. Last night, the epic disaster film Twister opened to big box office and some controversy. The Reverend Jesse Jackson has called for a boycott of the movie, claiming that not enough black people in the film are killed by tornadoes. Finally, in entertainment news, there are rumors that actor Don Johnson is dating 71-year-old San Francisco socialite Denise Hale. An observer who spotted the couple necking in a restaurant will have trouble getting an erection for the rest of his life. Washington Power twosome Mary Madeline and James Carville are expecting their first baby in July. No one knows if the baby will be a Democrat or a Republican, but doctors are sure of one thing: it will be weird looking. And it's been reported that Keanu Reeves is engaged to actress Amanda Decadina. Asked to comment, Keanu said, "What? I thought I was gay. I'd always heard I was gay." Drivers, men or women? Well, according to a new survey, 55% of adults feel that women are most responsible for minor fender benders, while 78% blame men for most fatal crashes. Please note that the percentages in these pie graphs do not add up to 100% because the math was done by a woman. For those of you hissing at that joke, it should be noted that that joke was written by a woman. So now you don't know what the hell to do, do you? No, I'm just kidding. We don't hire women. This week, Disney released a new CD featuring a rapping Mickey Mouse. To avoid controversy, the CD will not include the controversial hit single, Cat Killer. Beginning in March, DC Comics will change Superman's traditional red and blue costume to a new form-fitting bodysuit. The problem with the old costume? Not gay enough. What the hell's going on in the country? That's not Superman. According to the EPA, it will cost an estimated $295 million to clean up toxic waste at the former Lockheed Martin military aircraft plant in California. The cause of the toxic waste? You guessed it, Frank Stallone. A blind man felt Princess Diana's face last week and said she is the prettiest woman I've ever seen. He then picked up a toilet plunger and said, "Thank you for this royal scepter. I shall treasure it always." This week, President Clinton made history when he nominated Madeleine Albright to be first female Secretary of State. Responding to critics who say that she is not the best choice, the president insisted, quote, "She looks a lot better after a couple of drinks." Visitors to New York's Times Square this winter are in for a bit of a surprise. Crazy people will be shooting at them. O.J. Simpson's new fitness video was released this week, and hitting the shelves next week, Simpson's newest video, Dorf on Stalking. Does President Clinton have a bent penis? Well, according to a doctor who examined him last week, the president's genitals are, quote, completely 100% normal. It should be noted, however, that the doctor who examined him also has a bent penis. Potential jurors for the O.J. Simpson case were asked to fill out a 75-page jury questionnaire this week. In the entire state of California, only one person got a perfect score. Chow Ming Wu, who after the trial plans to attend Caltech. By the way, you can now purchase a bronze statue of the Juice for only $3,395. And for an even $5,000, you can buy one that Al Cowlings has kissed the ass of. O.J. Simpson's new fitness video was released this week, and hitting the shelves next week, Simpson's newest video, Dorf on Stalking. The crowd is torn. According to retailers, the most popular Halloween mask this year is O.J. Simpson. And the most popular Halloween greeting is, "I'll kill you and that guy who's bringing over your glasses," or treat. And the Pope came out with a book this week, which contains a series of essays examining faith and morality in today's secular world and the changing role of the Catholic Church as it approaches the 21st century. The book is entitled, "God Himself Told Me That O.J. is Guilty." In other book news, Prince Charles released an autobiography in which he states that he never loved Princess Di and that his father pressured him to marry her. The book is entitled, "Of Course O.J. Did It. I mean, come on." In his book, O.J. Simpson says that he would have taken a bullet or stood in front of a train for Nicole. Man, I'm going to tell you, that is some bad luck when the one guy who would have died for you kills you. That's probably... You don't get worse luck than that. And O.J. announced this week that he's coming out with a new book called I Want to Tell You. And if it's successful, O.J. will work on yet another book entitled From Football to Prison, My 25 Years of Showering with Other Men. And finally, in honor of the 50th anniversary of their first publication, Random House will be releasing special commemorative issues of many Dr. Seuss classics. The first to hit the bookshelves will be Green Eggs and Ham and O.J. is Guilty. Judge Ito was interviewed this week by a local TV station in Los Angeles. Asked by the interviewer if it was appropriate for a supposedly impartial judge to be on TV with his case still pending, Ito said, "Maybe not, but how appropriate is it to kill your ex-wife?" It was revealed today that O.J. Simpson told police that Nicole Brown Simpson used to beat him up. He also claimed that she and Ron Goldman killed him. O.J. Simpson's lawyers have decided to skip hearings on DNA evidence and go right to trial. Asked why they did this, the lawyers replied, We want to get O.J. acquitted as speedily as possible so he can get back to doing what he does best, killing people. Well, let's get to O.J. O.J. Simpson's lawyers say they don't want the families of Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman in the courtroom during the trial. They're afraid the presence of the family members will just remind O.J. of how much more killing he still has to do. Well, O.J. Simpson's lawyers stopped feuding this week, finally. The Dream Team, F. Lee Bailey and Robert Shapiro, were able to put aside their differences and express their admiration for each other after O.J. threatened to cut their heads off. According to the National Transportation Safety Board, sleepy truckers are responsible for 1,000 deaths a year. In second place, O.J. Simpson at 2 deaths a year. It was revealed this week that defense lawyer Johnny Cochran once abused his first wife. In his defense, Cochran said, "Hey, at least I didn't kill her like some people I know." Tomorrow, Judge Lancito will take O.J. and the jury on a tour of the now famous crime scene. For the jury, it will be their first look at the actual location. Of course, for O.J., it will be just a case of been there, done that. Judge Lancito was happy with the jurors' field trip to the crime scene last week. It went off without a hitch, said Ito. Not one murder. O.J.'s pal Al Cowlings now has a 1-900 number. For $2.99 a minute, Cowlings will tell callers that O.J. is innocent. And for $3.99 a minute, he'll try to do it without laughing. And this week, Simpson defense lawyers questioned witnesses about a half-melted container of ice cream found at the murder site. The Simpson defense has seized upon the ice cream for 2 reasons. 1, it may help fix the time of the murders. And 2, it was the only thing in the murder scene without any of... F. Lee Bailey said this week that if the defense only knew what Ron Goldman's last words were, they might be able to find the real killer. You know, if you ask me, Goldman's last words were probably, "Hey, you're O.J. Simpson." Oh, no, O.J. has struck again. How about that? Not a good thing. And in court this week, Cato Kalin testified that O.J. Simpson did not appear angry before or after the period of his wife's murder. But Kalin admitted he could have been a touch edgy while he was actually murdering her. Might have been a... Hertz Rental Car Company announced this week that it will buy 520,000 vehicles, increasing its worldwide fleet 24%. In addition, they will try to find a new spokesman who won't kill his ex-wife. This week at the O.J. Simpson trial, the infamous bloody glove was finally introduced into evidence, and O.J. didn't help his case any by blurting out, "There it is, I've been looking all over for that thing." And a new shocker in the O.J. Simpson trial. This afternoon, Judge Lancito dismissed yet another juror, a 45-year-old African-American male, for failing to tell the court that he had once worked for Hertz Rent-A-Car and that he had once held Nicole Brown Simpson's glasses while O.J. killed her. Dismissed Simpson juror Jeanette Harris revealed in interviews this week that the jury is torn by dissension and is already divided into 2 camps, those who think he is guilty and those who are really, really stupid. A bad week for the prosecution of the O.J. Simpson trial. Under intense cross-examination by defense lawyer Barry Scheck, LAPD crime expert Dennis Fung admitted that he may have contaminated the crime scene when he accidentally dropped a big bucket full of O.J.'s DNA. Our top story tonight, this week in the O.J. Simpson trial. After grisly photos of the murdered Nicole Brown Simpson were shown in court, O.J. turned his head away and wept. It was at that moment that he realized he would never be able to kill her again. Well, in a questionable move by the defense team this week, O.J. Simpson demonstrated how to stab two people at the same time. Remember 12 Angry Men, the classic courtroom drama? Well, the first film about the O.J. Simpson case is in the works. It's entitled 9 Angry Black People, 2 Scared Asians, and a White Guy Who Hasn't Spoken Since Rosa Lopez. Testimony during the final week provided some spellbinding moments. In a brilliant move during closing arguments, Simpson attorney Johnny Cochran put on the knit cap prosecutors say O.J. wore the night he committed the murders. Although O.J. may have hurt his case when he suddenly blurted out, "Hey, easy with that. That's my lucky stabbing hat." Well, the trial of the century is over. Late yesterday, the fate of O.J. Simpson, the most famous murder suspect in United States history, was placed in the hands of the jurors. They must now decide whether to free him or get all their heads cut off. I love Montreal, my God, and call me an eternal optimist, but I really believe in my heart that this is the year that the Expos are finally going to win it all. Montreal, famous for a lot of things, one of them being the greatest strip clubs in all of the world. Yeah. Last night, are you aware of Club Super Sex? Yeah, so last night I went to Club Super Sex. I chose the soup. Big mistake. Anyways, hey, how about that Caitlyn Jenner, huh? I personally have great admiration for Caitlyn Jenner because, back in the year of our Lord 1976, when I was a teenage boy, why, I saw Caitlyn Jenner here at the 1976 Olympics. She went by the name of Bruce back then. And she won the decathlon. And this is what I think. I think what a wonderful time. You see, it's all timing, And now imagine how great it would have been for the transgender community if, when awarded that gold medal, Bruce Jenner said, "Hey, I'm a lady." And people go, "God damn, the greatest athlete in the world is a lady." Would have really vaulted it, but no, he waits. Waits until he is 65 years old. Now, in all seriousness, in all honesty, is there really that much difference between a 65-year-old man Well, I hate to bring it up, the elephant in the room. There's no elephant in the room, by the way, don't panic. What if there was an actual elephant in the room? I'm like, I don't want to bring up the elephant in the room. Yeah, no, go ahead. No, seriously, yeah. I think I should bring up there's an elephant in the room. No, go ahead. No, the elephant in the room, of course, here we are at a comedy festival. And of course, this was the year of Bill Cosby. And this was tough on me as a comedian. And I'm sure on many of the comedians you'll see here tonight because, you know, there's a trailblazing comic, Mr. Cosby, you know, and I remember growing up and listening to albums of his with my dad, and by God, I loved him, you know, and I tried to emulate. Really loved Bill Cosby, you know, and so to have this happen just made me so sad. You know, a friend of mine said to me, he said, Norm, you know, the worst thing about it is the hypocrisy. And I said, I don't think that's the worst part. Worst part, the raping. Then it would be the drugging that preceded the raping. Then it would be finding the drugs that you would be used to drug the lady that you were going to rape. You know, it's a big, long list till you hit hypocrisy. That'd be way down there, I think, personally. As a matter of fact, I would venture to guess, and I don't know, I have no empirical evidence for this, but I would venture to guess that most rapists are hypocrites. And there's a lot of rapists hanging around going, sure, I love to rape. I'm out front about it, goddammit. I'm no hypocrite. So anyways, that is how I feel about Bill Cosby and hypocrisy. I feel that it's just, you know, it doesn't come into the equation at all. Like you could never find a woman would never wake up all drugged up and shit, you know, Cosby cock in her face. And, oh, goddamn, what is that, a Cosby cock or something? Looked like a Cosby cock to me. Hypocrisy!
All right, we're back with Norm MacDonald. And, you know, you kind of surprised me because you did MTV Beach House recently. And you know, there's a certain kind of person you expect to show up on the MTV Beach House. And I hear, we'll be right back with MTV Beach House, our special guest, Norm MacDonald. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
It's this...
What was that?
It's this show on MTV, right?
I know.
And it's at a beach.
It's at a beach.
And they don't script anything. Like, you know, they do, like, for... Anyway, so the dude, the host, was like, hey, Norm, do you mind wearing a pair of trunks, you know, bathing trunks? And I go, no, I don't want to wear that, you know, because I'm like, my body's like all weird looking and everything. And everybody else is super hot ladies and super hot men, you know, I don't, you know, whatever.
Whatever you... Wow,
so,
got an issue about that. All right, go ahead.
So I'm on the show, right? So they're saying, hey, come on, seriously, put on the trunks. I'm like, no, man, I don't want to. So then they think this will be funny. They go, hey, we're going to show you a fashion show. Some dudes will come out, you know, and show you, you see what you think. I go, what? So all of a sudden, these three dudes come out, right, dancing around in their thongs and shorts and everything.
They're wearing thongs or shorts? Which one?
Bathing trunks, but some of them are like thongs where you can see their dirty arses. So, so I'm like watching it, you know, and I'm like, oh,
it's like
man.
Chaucer. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm like, oh, I guess it is.
Okay, go
Old
ahead.
English. So I said, you know, oh, yeah, no, I'm pretending to go, oh, yeah, that's funny, right? And
you do a lot of that at MTV, yeah.
So then the guy, the host, he goes to this one guy who was very, very, very gay. He goes,
what? How do you know that?
No, I mean,
you had
a
sign?
Yeah, he looked very, very gay. He says to this dude, he says, hey, I'll give you $20 if you lap dance on Norm. You know what I mean?
Right.
All of a sudden, this dude like, hey, $20. I guess he didn't have much money. Starts running towards me, right? So I look up. Here's this nude, almost nude dude running towards me, right? So I think in my head, okay, man, pretty soon the guy's going to be writhing around on my lap with his ass, you know? And I don't want that on TV, you know, forever.
No, it's okay to talk about it, but you don't want to see it.
Right. They videotape that, and it's there forever. So, meanwhile, what can I do? You know, you can't hit a guy because it looks bad. You know what I mean? You know? Even though, of course, a woman could hit a naked guy running at him.
Sure, that's fine. Okay.
But a man can't hit him. Yeah. So I have to think fast. There's only a second. So I bolt. I take off, right?
You started running too?
Yeah, running down the beach.
The guy catch you or no?
Yeah, and then I had to come back on. They're like, oh, Mr. Homophobic. I won't let a guy grind his ass into you.
You got to work on that.
Hey, I'm going to miss Andy on this show, man.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to leave, huh? How bad is that, huh?
Yeah.
He should stay. You want him to stay. You should stay.
Good move.
You should stay.
You just
Get
killed
him booing.
Yeah, you killed everyone's joy tonight.
No, I swear to God, though, when you sit on a couch for the living, you should think about not giving that up. That's a great job. That's a great job. You sit on a couch, and you sit on a chair.
It got to be too much, though. I'm looking to lay down.
Got to tone it down a bit.
No, but you're a great man, and I'm going to miss you on the show, man. You're a great man, isn't he?
Thank you.
Great man.
Maybe he'll change his mind.
Maybe.
I keep asking him.
Yeah.
He's like, nope.
Maybe if the internet, they start like writing save Andy, you know what I mean? It's not save him because he's
it's
leaving.
his choice. Yeah. That's the hard thing. Now listen, we want to talk about your uncle because every time you come on the show, you have a story about your uncle who lives up in Canada.
Oh yeah, he's a Frenchman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you always have like a little story about him.
Jean-Luc. Oh yeah, he's a crazy character, that dude. He originally visited New York City. Hello?
I'm just having a drink. I can listen to you and have a drink. It's not like I went like this. Hold it. Ooh. Ah, liquid. Huh? I'm still here. Let's see if I got this right. You've got an uncle, lives up in Canada, named Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc.
Occasionally he visits. Once time he visited New York.
So I'm living in New York, you know? And Jean-Luc, I'm excited. Jean-Luc's going to come by, my crazy Frenchman uncle. So he gets in the cab, right?
When he gets to the airport.
Yeah, when he gets to the airport, the cab driver picks him up, and the cab driver says to him, hey, Frenchman, he says, do you like riddles, you know? So my uncle Jean-Luc is like, yes, I love the riddles. That's how he talks. He goes, I like nothing better than a riddle. So the cabbie's like, all right, here's one, right? So here's the riddle. His brothers and sisters, I have none, but this man's father is my father's son. So my uncle goes, I don't know. Right? So the cabbie goes, it's me. It's me.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
Oh, he thinks about it. Oh, by God, he says, that's a good riddle there. He says, I have to tell my wife, Mary Claire, when I get back to Gaspé. That's where he lives, Gaspé.
Right.
So he's like, take me back to the airport. And the cabbie's like, what? Right? The cabbie's like, I thought you wanted to go visit Norm then. No. I go back to the airport. All right, you know, I have to tell Mary Claire. Seems odd, right?
Right.
Gets back on the plane, flies all the way back home there to Gaspé. And he gets back, right? Runs in the door. Mary Claire, where êtes-vous? You know, where are you, Mary Claire? Come on down here. I have a riddle for you. She goes, oh, Jean-Luc, I love the riddle. She's a woman, high voice.
Michael Jackson was visiting. Yeah, all right.
So, you're going to love this riddle. How was New York? Forget about that. I got the riddle. Brothers and sisters, I have none. But this man's father is my father's son. She goes, oh, I don't know. Who is it? Some cab driver back in New York.
You didn't mean to do that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Be honest, you didn't mean to do that.
At all. I just got to the end. That guy, man, I always tell my uncle, you shouldn't curse so much. You know?
Oh, man. All right. Well, we're going to pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
The show is called Norm.
Yeah.
When is that on?
That's on Wednesday at 8:30. You already missed it, man. It's Thursday.
But it's on all more. They can watch it next time on ABC. Norm,
I'm
it's always
staying-
amazing.
staying here,
You're going to
though.
stick around. I know.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say thanks for the segment.
No, I
but you're
want
going
to see Sean. That next guy is hilarious.
All right, he's going to stick around. Norm MacDonald's going to stick around. Sean Hayes coming right up. We'll be right back.
Well, I can tell a joke.
Go for it.
Yeah,
This
please
is
do,
what we're looking
please.
for.
Yeah. There was a little boy in school named Dirty Johnny. Now, he's not dirty in this joke, but he'd always be a hellion in class, and the teacher didn't think much of him. So the teacher has a project, or not a project, but an in-class thing. How'd that go again? She says, now, this is what you're going to do here, class. I want you to stand up. I want you to stand up and tell the class what a story from your life. And then afterwards say the moral to that story. So a girl puts up her hand. Yes, Becky, what's your story? So Becky stands up. She goes, my dad works for the hatchery here in town. And what happens was he got about 15 eggs. And he put them all in one basket, all the same basket. So he put all his eggs in one basket. And he put it on the horse and buggy and drove back home. And by God, Becky says, the bouncing and all the eggs broke. Well, that's a good story, the teacher says, but what would the moral be to that? Becky says, well, the moral is, don't put all your eggs into one basket. But goddamn, says the teacher, that's a good one. Anybody else? Marjorie puts up her hand. Marjorie, what's your story? She says, well, my dad works for the hatchery, as all of us. Thank God for the hatchery. She says, or we'd all be lost. But anyways, my dad knows that eggs become chickens. And so he was counting his chickens, and he added in the eggs, you see. And then he put them on a horse and buggy to go to town, and they all broke. Well, what's the lesson to that? The teacher says she can't understand. And she says, well, don't count your chickens before they hatch out of an egg. Mm. So the teacher says, that's a great one, too. Anybody else? Well, wouldn't you know, Dirty Johnny has his hand up. So the teacher's like, holy God, I don't want it. But on the other hand, I made an oath to every child, should I suppose I gotta. All right, Dirty Johnny, what do you have to say? Johnny stands up. Stories about my Uncle Terry. He never worked at the hatchery. On account he was in Vietnam, and he got disability. He don't even like people who work at the hatchery. But the story happened far from these shores, in a little town called Da Nang. Terry was not well liked. His whole troop left him, abandoned. And he woke up in the weeds, and all they left him with was 3 bottles of Jack Daniels, some weapons. Terry stood up and downed 1 bottle right away. Said, if I'm going out, I'm going out. And he took his Balishnikov and a couple of Glocks and his 2 bottles, and away he went. He found a town. And he didn't know if it was Charlie or if it was one he was sent to protect. But all he knew was he had hate in his gut. So he started firing. And he fired the Kalashnikov with an arcing kind of, like a farmer would with hay, with a scythe. And sure enough, the men fell like hay before him. And then the women, and by God, I'm ashamed to say it, but then the children. And finally, all was left was Uncle Terry standing in the mud and the blood and the glory. And he touched his pants, and it was wet, and he said he was ashamed. He felt shame, Uncle Terry, for he'd pissed himself. Well, he touched it again. It was not urine at all, but ejaculate.
And Uncle Terry felt pride where shame once was. And the teacher's like, good Christ, what kind of a story is that? What the hell is the moral to that? Oh, well, he says, when Uncle Terry's been drinking, you don't fuck with him. Now, especially if you work at the hatchery. So listen, guys, this has been fun, hasn't it?
This has been probably my
It's just been good. It saves me a trip to my senile uncle. So that's,
This is our first guest.
What is the band going to play when I come out?
There's no band.
You don't have a band?
We don't have a band on the show.
But it's a talk show.
Hey, welcome to the show. This is a podcast, but it's on the TV also. And I'm here with my trusted sidekick, Adam Egas.
That's right. How are you, Norm?
Your life is going well?
Couldn't be better.
But you're always in trouble with the law?
I wouldn't say that.
A little bit.
Well, I mean, yeah, a little. I mean, I did just get out of court.
Don't you think that possibly we're boring the shit out of the public right now?
About Adam Egas?
Yeah, just having non sequitur talk.
No, this is not non sequitur.
When are you going to introduce me?
Well, maybe we should introduce Super Dave.
Yeah, I say one thing. Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
I have not seen you in so long.
I know, it's been a
while. I
while.
love you. Makes me very sad now that you're
I've gained 45 pounds.
I don't care. A man as brilliant as you are is doing a podcast for 18 people.
He's sober for 9 months.
Yeah, 9 months today.
That's like 3/4 of a chip.
Can't tell you how much I give a shit.
You don't care?
No, I don't care. I don't care if he's shooting up while we're doing the show now. Now listen, this guy who killed the cops.
Yeah, explain to the folks.
I don't want to explain anything. If you're going to say that after everything I say, I'm going to leave.
No, I've heard people say that.
This is the cheapest thing I've ever been involved in.
No, I've heard people say that.
If I didn't love you, I would be so gone now. I can't tell you.
I've heard people say that. Explain to the folks who that is. Dorner, yes, Christopher Dorner.
Yeah. Okay.
Explain to the folks who he was.
Tall.
He was the African American.
African American match in Indian Wells.
Yeah.
And I saw Rafael Nadal play. He's my favorite.
Rafael Nadal. Explain to the folks who Rafael Nadal
Oh
is.
my God.
No, of course, Rafael Nadal. I'll explain. Okay. Rafael Nadal.
Now, am I going to have to explain everything to you?
No, to the folks.
Really
explain who Kim Kardashian is.
Never mind.
Because I think the joke was predicated on knowing that she has a big ass. Wasn't it?
People don't know that. The heaviest I've ever seen.
And since I've gained it, I sweat like a
yeah, you sweat
like a whore in church. I don't mean to be
what?
I don't mean to be filthy, but
a whore in church.
Yeah, she's nervous, so she sweats because
like Chris Dorner.
2 women on a bridge.
Yeah.
One says, you know what, Helen, I've always wanted to pee off this bridge just like men do. She said, go ahead, there's no one around. So she goes over the railings, drops her shorts, sticks her ass over the railing. She says, come here, I'm going to pee right down there in that canoe. Said, it's not a canoe, it's your reflection. Your asswipe producer just held up a sign, let's take a break. Where are we going? We're talking to 6 people. You know, we could get on a bus right now, the 3 of us, and yell out the window and reach more people.
What if each of us, each of you told a joke and decided who was the better joke? Adam Egret will start.
That is such a great idea.
Okay, you start, Adam.
Wait, I'm starting?
You say a joke.
Let's take a break. Let's take a break.
Yeah, I think we should probably take a break.
Okay, we'll take a break, and then we'll do the joke off.
No, we're not doing the jerk off.
Joke?
No, it's a joke off.
No,
Yeah,
we're
wildly
not
different.
We're not doing it.
You don't think you can take them?
It's got nothing to do with it.
We're taking a break.
I'm going to tell you the greatest talk show in the history of talk shows was Mike Douglas.
Mike Douglas.
And his co-host was Sly.
Now, people are going to think that's Michael Douglas. You should probably explain to the folks.
Well, who's watching? Is this in the United States?
Well, I'll explain to them.
Yeah, no, don't explain everything.
Mike Douglas.
Mike Douglas just take everything out of it. There's no sense being here.
I'm saying to the folks at home that Mike Douglas was a talk show host, someone in the vein of Merv Griffin. He was a singer.
Call me when you're through, because I forgot what I was talking about. And then another time, and this is horrible, but it kills me. John Biner was the host of Bizarre.
Yeah, he was the host. For the folks at home that don't know, he was a famous impressionist.
Can we explain what Bizarre is? It was a TV show I believe
it was just John Biner and a bunch of Canadian actors.
It's a great show. It went 6 years, the first series in the history of cable.
No, I know. I wasn't saying as an epithet. I meant I liked it.
Don't use epithet when you don't know what it means. We went over words before this show, and I asked you, do you know what epithet means? You said no, and now you use it.
But let me ask you this, though.
No,
seriously.
let me go on with this story.
Oh, is there a story? So Adam Eager told me something I didn't know. He said you worked with Red Fox on a variety.
Yeah, I heard that. I'm dying to
I
hear.
produced Red Fox variety.
You told me he just worked on it.
Worked on it.
Well, that's. I mean, according to your
What do you
Wikipedia
think I was,
page,
a stagehand, you douchebag? Worked on it.
it's not the
Did you
first time I've been
do
called
your
douchebag
notes?
today. No,
I want
got
you
all my
back on
information
drugs.
from
I'm
Wikipedia.
serious. I
Yeah,
want you back on stuff so you
this
know.
close. I'm gonna do a
Two
shot.
quick Red Fox stories, okay?
Yeah.
We're meeting at his house.
Red Fox, for those of you who don't know.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Was played. Of course, most people know him as Sanford and Son. He played Fred Sanford.
Right. Right.
Which was his father's actual name.
Is that right?
You know, if I had steroids, I'd take them right now.
Steroids?
Yes, I would take them right now.
Why would you take
Just
steroids?
so my
then?
arms would pump up, I'd get you in a headlock and pop your head.
Oh my goodness gracious!
He's got a point.
I've never heard such a thing.
You know, I would rather do a show with.
Look.
I would rather do.
In the
I'd
middle of
rather
your
do a
story.
show. I'd rather do a show with a signer. I'm serious, for the deaf.
No, but in the middle of your story.
You told me let's take a break. I'll show you a break.
Oh, that's a great fucking story. Let's take a break.
But what do we take a break for? This isn't a television show.
Yeah, we got.
You don't have sponsors. This is the first time you've been on.
I got sponsors.
You do? Who do you have?
No, he has a
Yeah,
sponsor.
call one of them right now.
I trust
He
me
has a
after this.
sponsor.
I got it. No, don't
Because he's
explain
an
it to me. I
alcoholic.
got it. You have to explain to me them. They got to know.
Folks.
How
gonna take a
sad
break.
is it that a talent of yours has to do this?
Adam had a question he wanted to ask you about your comedy.
Yeah, I've been chomping at the bits to ask this one. I've been thinking about it all week. Norm told me to come up with some questions for you, and I've just been dying to know where do you get your ideas from? Well, I mean,
Why didn't you answer his question?
What was his question?
Ask it again.
Don't ask that
Sorry,
again. That
ask
was
that
the
again.
dumbest
Too loud.
goddamn question I've ever heard.
You just want to know where you got
Yeah, well, I
your
got to tell you where I got it, at Ralph's. That's where I got it.
any particular Ralph's?
Yes,
or-
no, it's at Beverly Hills Ralph's.
Okay.
Got it in the
On
meat section.
The one on Beverly.
Beverly Drive,
Oh.
okay. Did you see this? Cardboard piece of
We
shit.
should explain to the folks
Explain to them
table
what's
is.
going on.
that Super Dave is addressing Daniel Kellison, the producer.
Oh yes, Daniel Kelson, our trusty producer, who I think's done a great job personally.
Oh, suck his ass, because you're not coming back unless you do. Okay?
Let's roll the clip.
Oh, not another one.
Oh yeah,
There's
you know
no
what? There is no
clip.
clip. We have.
He said, let's roll the clip, and it's a picture. This show is just so. I tell you, even the prisoners are going back to the.
Well, I'll explain
their
what's
cells.
I'll explain what's going on here.
Who is
your?
your-
Tell anymore.
Oh, look.
if he's-
What happened? News.
Oh, news.
I'd like to go over there and squeeze his head so hard I'd like to turn it into a pimple.
You know what? Here's one more.
Oh, you mean,
Wait, you mean Tanya Harding?
Nancy Kerrigan?
God, you guys go back so far all the time.
You
Were
told a Red Fox
were you
story.
Institutionalized? The two of you, were you institutionalized
Yeah,
together
a couple
in a
times,
double
yeah.
bunk bed?
He
Because
was
Yeah,
not me.
I mean,
you've never
frankly,
been
I was.
institutionalized.
But I,
Again, I
Don't
apologize.
ever
I
say that
apologize to both
again.
of you.
I mean, it's sticky lie.
Yeah, it really
Okay,
is.
go ahead.
no,
Well, hold up a sign, dickwad. News. Okay, news.
now we're back to news.
We only have 15 minutes
okay,
left.
okay, go ahead with the news.
I swear to God, I think after the show, a bus is going to come and take Adam with a lot of dangerous people back to the home. And he's going to be sedated, and they're going to take his balls off.
We'll be back with questions.
All right, questions when we come back. I think we have some questions.
From who?
Well, from people, from the 7 people watching the podcast.
Why do you say there's only 7?
Well, he said 7. I just thought he did.
I didn't say 7. I said 50.
All right, well, 50.
7 would be
Well, pull
bullshit.
it from the.
I'm great. Big fan of all you guys. And
I love you.
Well, 2 out of 3. Sorry, man. Oh.
Hey, has this show been good or not?
It's pretty good. I liked earlier.
The fuck are you
when-
talking about? Pretty good. How can
Well,
we
what
do
else
any
is on right
more?
now? There's nothing
What else can
on.
we do?
Do you juggle?
Yeah, of course I do.
Norm, I got to ask you. I'm a big fan of SNL. How did you get the Weekend Update gig?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
I think it's for you.
It's for you, yeah. How'd you get the Weekend Up a gig?
Oh, I got it. I auditioned for it, and then they gave it to me.
What a great story.
Yeah, that's great.
And he said it's pretty good.
Yeah.
What a
good.
how good was that answer?
Great answer. Love
Wasn't it? Listen to me, Coach. Here are two quick ones. Okay. Oh, shit, I forgot the one. Anyway,
You know what, let's...
a guy. What are you
Oh,
saying?
I was
Okay.
just looking at the card.
What are you talking
I
about?
was just looking at the
yeah,
card.
stay out of it.
Great story.
That's a good one.
All right, let's take a break. And,
Yeah, you hold up another card, and I'm going to take the training wheels off your balls. You are so old that it's
trash
not right.
talk when we come back.
This is the section where we do jokes. Do you want to read one?
I mean, I like it.
Do you understand that we're on the air?
Yeah.
Oh, right. We all know that the Swiss are officially neutral.
Who wrote this?
Unofficial.
Who wrote this? Who wrote this?
Well, that screwed up my timing.
Who wrote this?
We don't have a name
wrote
on
it? Do you have writers?
It's anonymous. It's
I
like
think-
I didn't
I don't
write
wanna
it.
say
I didn't write that one.
Super Dave, why is there an app for everything except how to rape a baby?
Jesus.
Oh, this one's actually topical. We could nip March Madness in the bud if we watch for the warning signs of brooding antisocial February fever.
Who is writing this? You're doing this. This is your life. You're putting your life on. You dress like horseshit tonight.
No, that was Adam Egan's
I don't
fault.
care.
That was
You
Adam
should have
Egan's
worn
fault.
told you to bring a
some
wardrobe.
kind of a host coat.
But that was
You
Adam
got
Egan's
a
fault.
thing with a hood.
But that was
I can prove God exists if I can just find that damn receipt from our brunch in heaven.
That is so funny. That is so fucking funny.
Well, this Lindsay Lohan can't swim a stroke, but she sure knows every dive in town.
That one I liked. That was my favorite. I'm keeping this.
That is a favorite. Did you write this?
I didn't write that one. Alfred the Great may well be the greatest monarch in the
Can you do
history
me a
of...
favor? Can you find out what the traffic is like on the Santa Monica going to the desert?
Do you know the Harlem Shake?
Yeah, I've seen it on every single
You've
commercial.
seen it. Then you'll appreciate this joke. I remember back when the Harlem Shake was just a black fella holding me upside down off a fire escape trying to collect his money.
Can you find out what the quickest way is to the Santa Monica Freeway, please? And don't call me again.
Super Dave.
I don't care about anything. You don't call me again. There's no last minute fill in. There's nothing. Okay? Thank God we're only reaching 50 people.
Wait,
That's
Super
all
Dave.
I can tell you.
Sure, junkyard dogs are mean, but the meanest dogs are generally found guarding concentration camps. And it says here, there's a note. Early versions of the Jim Croce's 1973 smash hit Big Bad Leroy Brown. Do you remember that song?
Tell the people the
No, do you know what you just said?
It
Do you have
included.
any idea what you just read?
This says it
No, did you have any idea what you just read?
that
It was an
junkyard dogs.
anti-Semitic joke about the concentration camp.
No.
Oh,
Not
what do you mean?
anti-Semitic
no,
at
no,
all.
No, it's Semitic?
No.
Well, you know, I know what the problem is. 'cause
Did you write it?
I didn't write that.
Who wrote it?
They use the meanest
wrote it?
dogs.
I don't know who wrote it, but I think the problem is that some people might not know what the concentration camps are. So you might need to-
Concentration camps were found in Poland.
Oh, my God.
And
Oh,
what?
fucking
What?
almighty. Oh, my Christ
Concentration
almighty.
camps.
Please
were
get my nurse. I swear to God, get her in here right now and
No, I'm
reel
trying
me
to
away.
explain to the
Did you
folks
have-
who
You
know.
are
Did you have too much
you
salt?
know what? This is your first show, and these are the...
Well, I don't want to bring up the systemic, extermination attempt against the Jewry of Europe, but this says on this piece of paper that Bad Leroy Brown initially included the line meaner than a concentration camp dog, but Croce decided it was unpleasant to the ear. And it was also offensive to Jews, gypsies, and homosexuals. Little did it matter, Croce would be dead within
You know
the
what
year.
I'm going to do tomorrow? I'm going to watch the fucking View.
Last joke.
Alfred the Great may well... That's the one you wouldn't do.
serious?
I tried to read it.
Did you read these before he did them? You're the producer of the show. All right, do you have one more joke?
I didn't read any of these. They're his.
Wait, I didn't write I read the ones you told me to, but I didn't write any of these.
I don't understand any of these. I don't even understand that how you could take a segment to end your first show when these ratings are so important. And I mean, people at home, that guy who wanted to know how to become a comic.
Who, JP?
No, the
guy who wanted to
know from the
how to
writer.
become a
Yeah,
comic.
right.
How can you tell him how to become a comic when you're reading that?
Some gold-plated chains would make a nice retirement gift for a very, very good slave. Well,
Are you serious?
Well, this was written.
Are you serious?
This was written years
Did
ago.
you just write that?
I didn't write it.
Did you just say that?
No, I read it. Yes.
You read that?
It was written
Oh
obviously.
my God Almighty! I'm not part of this.
No, it was written
No,
before.
I'm not part of this. No, you can't read that.
Researchers at Harvard found that 1 in every 10 U.S. deaths is a result of too much salt consumption.
Now, I smoke like a chimney. I'm a terrible.
Really?
I do. I'm a terrible driver. I've dated some women that probably own guns. A lot of things would have to go very, very right for me to die of salt. The only thing I can pray for is that I die of salt and not, begging for mercy. So I think that's nonsense, that people should be afraid of too much salt. Now, I know you eat a lot of salt, though, Norm. We were discussing this earlier. And
You know what it's like? It's like I'm in a drag race car, and I just left the line, and I'm told that there's something wrong with the fucking motor, and I've got to put an emergency brake on at 90 miles an hour, okay? And I'm sliding all over the goddamn track, out of control.
we're talking about
all
this
of a
news
sudden, we're doing Meet the Press. All the humor's gone. Everything is gone.
In all
Who
fairness,
gives a shit if you're... Did you show a clip about dying of salt?
but he had all those jokes for it.
They're not
No,
jokes. They're not
those
jokes.
not jokes. Those aren't jokes.
That he has trouble with other things, and if he had salt, you didn't get that part?
I got some of it.
Little did it matter. Croce would be dead within
You know
the
what
year.
I'm going to do tomorrow? I'm going to watch The fucking View.
Norm Macdonald is a comedy icon. He had a reputation on Saturday Night Live for being one of the ballsiest Weekend Update hosts to ever sit behind the desk. Tina Fey once said that Norm was the last dangerous cast member on Saturday Night Live, and he's also been described as the first and last bad boy of SNL. Eventually, Norm was fired from the show, though, and why was he fired?
The show blows.
No, Norm was actually fired for his unwavering integrity and loyalty to his friend Jim Downey. In this video, we're going to talk about the real reason Norm Macdonald was fired from SNL and some of the common misconceptions about why Norm was fired, along with why Norm took his secret to the grave. So if all that sounds interesting to you, then let's hop right into it. To begin with, a common misconception about Norm Macdonald's firing from SNL is that it was done by NBC executive Don Ohlmeyer because of all the jokes he made at the expense of acquitted murderer and common breakfast beverage O.J. Simpson. Don did raise some issues to Norm and Jim Downey about this, but it's not the real reason that Norm himself was fired from the show. Part of the reason so many people have believed this for so long is that Norm went on the Howard Stern Show and Late Night with David Letterman and built this narrative that he made an enemy in Don Ohlmeyer after he was told to stop making O.J. Simpson jokes, yet Norm persisted because of his authentic internal comedic compass.
You had heard rumors that there were going to be changes. It doesn't look good.
And so then the guys go, hey, man, you got to call this dude Don Ohlmeyer, who's the president of the network.
And they're telling you you've got to call Don Ohlmeyer.
Right.
So when you called Don Ohlmeyer, what did he say?
He said he didn't want me to do update. He doesn't think I was funny.
He said that to your face?
Yeah.
I don't think you're funny.
He did this?
He said to me that update is like dragging down the show. He said, I want you to be better. And I go, well, I can't, because if I'm not funny, an unfunny guy can't be funny.
Lorne Michaels fire you?
No, he did. He didn't fire me.
Right.
He likes me and stuff.
Well, it's his show, isn't it?
I thought it was his show, yeah. They said that this guy, Don Ohlmeyer, who turns out to be the president.
Yeah, now I know Don Ohlmeyer, and
Yeah.
just between you and me, he's an idiot.
Oh. So he goes, oh yeah, I'm firing you there from the show. And then I said, oh, that's not good. I said, why is that now? And he goes, oh, you're not funny.
Yeah.
And then I said,
I said, holy Lord, that's even worse news, you know? You have to be philosophical about these things. I mean, at first, like when I found out, you know, I was upset, but then, you know, I really started to think about it, you know, and plus I drank a lot of whiskey. But then the next day I sobered up and I remembered, you know, that I still had some whiskey left.
Now, these interviews are legendary and possess endless rewatchability, but Norm knew what he was doing here and was concealing the true reason he was fired to protect his friend Jim. To understand how Norm was protecting Jim Downey, we need to first understand who Jim was and what he meant to Norm Macdonald. If you're a veteran fan of comedy, Jim probably needs no introduction, but in case you need your memory refreshed, Jim Downey is a comedy writer, not just any ordinary writer. Jim holds the record for the longest tenured head writer in Saturday Night Live history, with 10 seasons under his belt, and also the record for longest tenured writer in the show's history, with 30 total seasons under his belt. He also wrote for Late Night with David Letterman as head writer in a crucial and formative stage of the show. Jim was like the Babe Ruth of comedy writing, not because he was good at it before black people were allowed to do it, but because he was just a powerhouse of comedy writing. Dennis Miller even called him the second most important man in the history of Saturday Night Live behind Lorne Michaels, which is one hell of a compliment. The point is, if you have any recollection of moments on Saturday Night Live that were good, there's a strong chance that Jim Downey played a huge hand in the development of it. He was also the school principal from the movie Billy Madison who said this classic line:
"What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard."
Even some of the best jokes on Weekend Update were written by Jim Downey, which brings us right back to Norm Macdonald. Norm and Jim reportedly spent a lot of time together, away from the cast and crew, which is where a lot of the writing took place. Norm and Jim got along really well, which caused their working relationship to grow stronger. Jim even said for a while they stopped doing OJ jokes to make people think they were fully done with them, but then brought them back later on, which is such a funny move.
I'm sure we did an OJ joke, at least one OJ joke every
show, yeah.
From 94, 95, and 96. And then finally, the fall of 97. So we opened that season, the fall 97, right? Spring 98. We didn't do any OJ jokes. We didn't do any OJ jokes for the first 8 shows.
Wow.
And then the Christmas, it was a long stretch of like, it was like the bombardment has stopped, and then suddenly, I think they stopped. They have stopped. You know, it's peace in the valley. And then on the 8th show, we did 2 OJ jokes.
Hilarious, man. However, when Norm and Jim were told to stop making jokes about O.J. Simpson directly by Don Ohlmeyer, the two would disobey this order, which led to Jim being in hot water with the show producers. Then when Norm was asked by the producers how he felt about their decision to fire Jim, he did not hold back and gave his honest opinions about it. Jim tells the story of exactly how this happened on Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend.
People who are fans of Norm deserve to know this about him. The network went to Norm and said, "We want to get rid of Jim Downey, and we just want you to know you're cool with that, right?" He said, "No. If you can't fire him, if you fire him, I quit." And they go, "That's crazy. I mean, you know, he's not helping you, you know." And he said, "Well, no, I'm not doing it without him." And he never told me that. And I didn't hear that for years. I heard it from some network executives. And and part of everything else, if that had been me, that would have been, you bet Norm would have heard, you know?
You would have talked about it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, come on.
So Norm was not fired for any of the jokes he made. He was fired from SNL because he refused to do the show without his friend Jim Downey. Some people may call that bold, loyal, or even stupid, but you can't deny that Norm's decision came from a position of integrity. We know that also because Jim mentioned how he didn't even know about this until after Norm's death in 2021 because another producer from Saturday Night Live told him about it, which means that Norm took this secret to the grave and never told anybody about it. In my opinion, the likely reason Norm kept quiet about this was because he didn't want a big brother Jim Downey and make it seem like he lost his job because of him, and also because he didn't want to morally grandstand to comedy fans about what happened to him, because to Norm, being funny always came before being morally righteous. So Norm, instead of airing this dirty laundry, decided to tell this funny story about Don Ohlmeyer firing him for not being funny on Letterman and Howard Stern. To clarify, I do think Norm and Jim were confronted by Don Ohlmeyer and that this story happened, but Norm just left out the part that he was fired because of his refusal to do the show without Jim to make the story funnier. Then, of course, a year and a half later, Norm would be brought back to host Saturday Night Live after finding success with his sitcom, The Norm Show, and would give likely the most infamous monologue in Saturday Night Live history. This was so fucking funny, man. This was just one amazing moment in Norm's long comedy career, and part of the reason we all love and respect him endlessly. People also thought that Lorne Michaels had a strife with Norm because of the whole Don Ohlmeyer situation, but this could not be further from the truth. Think about it like this. Norm got fired from the show and then came back to trash the show as the host, and after all of that, Lorne would still bring back Norm to appear on Saturday Night Live. Canadians always stick together. But this was the full story of why Norm Macdonald was fired from Saturday Night Live, how Jim Downey's situation impacted Norm, and also why Lorne Michaels never had any hard feelings towards Norm to begin with, even after he was canned from the show. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, make sure to leave me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Also, hype the video to help more people see it. If you want to see more content from me, click the link on your screen to watch my last video on Dennis Leary and his infamous stand-up comedy plagiarism scandal with Louis C.K. and Bill Hicks. Click the link to watch that next. Other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and God bless.
And I watch SportsCenter while I'm digesting my Count Chocula, and I phone my friend, Fat Freddy. And I go, hey, you want to eat a cheese sandwich or something around 3 o'clock? I got to wait for my Count Chocula to digest, but how'd that settle with you? He goes, yeah, great. So I get together with him, and on my way I get some groceries to bring home for later, and then of course there's dinner, you know? So most of my life is finding and consuming food. So it doesn't make for a riveting read. It's incredibly repetitious. When you're writing, you learn a lot of that. I went to a guy who was a big writer guy. He told me about things I didn't know about. Metaphors, you ever hear of them? He said, you gotta use metaphors. I'm like, what's that? He's like, that's a thing. So a metaphor is like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? So he's like, that means you can take a person, you know, and you can give him all the information and everything, but he still has to be the one to absorb it himself. So I was like, well, why the fuck didn't you just say that? Like, what? Why'd you have to put a horse into it? Like, what? You thought I was so stupid you needed to make it into some fable? Like, what? A horse? Or sometimes the metaphor part of it is true, but then the literal part is not true. Like they'll go like, that which does not kill you makes you stronger, right? Now, metaphorically, that's true. Like maybe a woman breaks your heart, you know, or life deals you a bad hand, and then the next time you're prepared for it, and it doesn't hurt you as much. But literally, it's not true at all. Literally, it's that which does not kill you makes you weaker. And will probably kill you the next time it shows up. That's why I like, personally, I like the ones where the metaphor is true and the literal part is true. Like, they say like beauty is only skin deep. I think that's beautiful because it is like, you know, really what makes a person attractive is what's inside, their friendship, their conviviality, their goodwill, not this optic trick, you know? And so it has that. But also literally it's true because you could be, you know, the handsomest guy in the world, you know? You'd have like this chiseled jaw and beautiful thick mane of hair, you know? Large shoulders and narrow waist. You guys horny? Is it just me or? Giant quads, a perfect body, 6% body fat, you know? But you take that same guy and you skin him. a sudden, he is not so easy on the eye. Getting old, you know. I asked my doctor, this is interesting, because I wondered, you know, I know the first two causes of death, heart disease and cancer, neck and neck, you know, to kill you. So I said to the doctor, I said, what's the third most common cause of death? What is the third? And he said, complications. I was like, that's like the doctor fucking up. Like, how is that the third? That's the third? You know, you go, hey, Doc, I can't help but noticing my father is dead. And I remember yesterday you said it was a simple operation. And he's like, yeah, we thought it was. It looks simple in the book, I'll tell you that. But you cut open a man, by God, it's all this red stringy stuff and everything. Are you a doctor? You go, no, you wouldn't have. Way too complicated for you. But you worry when you get old, you know? You're concerned, scared. I remember my grandmother, you know, she was like, I think she was like 85 at the time or something. And I looked at her, she was sitting on a chair. I said, hey, Grandma, she had a bruise, right? And I went from her wrist all the way up her arm right to her shoulder. A big bruise, purple, green, and yellow. A third of each. And I said, Grandma, where did you get that bruise? And then my grandmother said, the wind. I said, the wind? And she said, yes, do you remember that gentle breeze yesterday? I was like, yeah, I remember. My parents were teachers, which is a noble profession, everyone says. They're fine people, but you know what's weird? They all say teachers are the real heroes. My folks, not heroic at all. And as a matter of fact, I have never met a teacher that showed any heroism. And I've known a lot of teachers because I was a student for years and years. And never once did I go, hey, Barney, man, I was just looking at old man Abernathy. You know, the way he's erasing that chalk on the chalkboard where he put the chalk earlier. And I was thinking, he cuts a heroic figure, doesn't he? No, me neither. I didn't think that either. I just heard that somewhere. And it's not that hard a job when you think about it, you know what I mean? Like, it's a pretty good job. If you have a job where you go to work, like grade 3, you go to work, and you're 50 times bigger than everybody else that you work with, that's a pretty good job. Plus, they do all the work. You do nothing. That's... How about the students? How about giving some of them the heroism, you know, the 5-year-olds that are working for free? And what do you need, really, to be a teacher anyway? What's the, you know, qualifications? Let's say you're teaching a 3rd grade. What do you need? A 4th grade education. Really, anything above that, you're overqualified, really, you know? I don't like school. I like before school. Man, do you remember that? Before you had to go to school. Man, that was the greatest time ever. I'll never forget. Those were my finest days, man. I loved them so much. I remember, like, I'd go over to Sean Kay's house, and I'd have a stick, and that'd be the whole day. I go, Sean, I got a stick. He'd go, God damn, we go play. It was so much fun. And then one day, suddenly I'm in school. They're dragging me in. I remember there were tears, and I'm like, what the fuck? And And there were these windows that made even, you'd look out the window, and sometimes you'd see the stick, you know? And you go, God damn, do these people's cruelty know no offense? Nowadays, you know, they have the ADD and stuff like that. If a kid's in class, he's like, hey, I'd like to go out. They go, we're going to drug you. And then you won't want to get out and run around in the grass and have fun with the stick. You'll be fine. You'll be good. But anyways, I'm old now, you know. I was young. Now I'm old. Yep. I learned some things in school. But now that I'm old, things scare me, you know, and I think it's the media does it. Like, they go, North Korea, you know, and I don't know, it kind of scares. It doesn't scare me that much, but it's supposed to scare you. But, like, are you really scared? Have you ever woken up, go, ah, and your wife's like, what's the matter, honey? North Korea. A little tiny country way the fuck over somewhere. I'm scared, honey, I'm scared. I'll tell you, Iraq doesn't scare me, North Korea, none of those countries scare me. There's only one country, really, that scares me in the whole country, or in the whole, what do you call it, that's bigger than a country but less than a galaxy? Earth. The entire Earth, there's only one country that frightens me, and it's the country of Germany. I don't know if you guys are students of history or not, but for those of you who aren't, Germany, in the previous century, in the early part, they decided to go to war. And who did they choose to go to war with? The world. So you think that would last about 5 seconds and the world would fucking win and, you know, that'd be that. But I think it was actually close. And then, I don't know how that worked, but then 30 years pass and Germany decides to go to war again. And once again, they choose as their foe the world. And now, this time, they really almost win. So at this point, you would think the world would go, okay, Germany, you're fucking not a country anymore, all right? The fuck? You're not a country because you keep going to war with the world. And no one does. What do you think you are, Mars? Think you're Mars or something? But it's fun to get old, you know? Start watching old things. You know those commercials that are toward old people? You know, like I was watching, for instance, on MeTV, I was watching The $6 Million Man, right? And he was in Paris, he was jumping over the Arc de Triomphe and everything like that. And then, just by luck or coincidence, they went to a commercial, and it was a commercial starring Lee Majors, the $6 Million Man, but as he is today, like an old man. So he's jumping over, and it was for the bionic ear. And it wasn't the real bionic ear from the show, it was a fucking hearing aid. So you see him jumping over the Arc de Triomphe, and then it cuts, and then he's in the studio, and he's like, I can't hear too good out of it. This one's no good at all. This one's all right. This one may as well not even be an ear. And you go, God damn, you can't help but feel sorry for a man like that. Because, you know, at one time, he got a phone call from his agent, you know? And he probably had all kinds of hope, you know? His answer is, hey, Jerome, my God, I haven't heard from you in 30 years. You got something for me? Well, let me guess. I bet I know what it is. It's that movie I wrote, The Return of the $6 Million Man, starring Ben Stiller. And then I show up as a judge for 2 minutes. Is that the one? No. Well, what is it then? It's a... No, not out of this one, nope. Well, what was that? That's a hearing aid? Well, how much does something like that pay a fellow? It's funny you say that, Jerome, because when you say it, I realize that's only 1/10 what I used to get from a single episode of, no, I won't stop, sorry. When do they have to know by? Within the hour, huh? Well, I guess then I would say, yes, I'll take that. Jerome, I have to ask you this. Is there any way in the contract that you can put in that I'm sad?